they'll have it clean. Okay,
Time is
that's a relief.
4:34.
We'll open this meeting of December 1st, 2016. Let the record show that all is present except Selectman Scanlon, and he is on his way. Just have a couple of announcements. On December 14th, Town Hall, Wednesday, December 14th, Town Hall will be closed for staff training from 12 to 2 p.m. Again, December 14th, from 12 to 2 p.m., Town Hall will be closed for staff training.
The clerk's office has been notified?
Yes, they're notified. Town offices will be closed from 12 noon on Friday, December 23rd, and closed all day December 26th for Christmas. The annual Christmas parade is December 3rd, this Saturday at 4:15 or 4?
The parade starts at 4:30, but they're asking if it would be there by 3:30? Is that right, Peter?
If you're in the parade, be there by 3:30 at Union Sanborn.
So be there, or be square.
Candy for the kiddies. And fireworks at 5:45. Yeah.
Well, it may be later.
So who's going to be, selectmen are going to be with us on the truck?
Definitely coming.
Joey,
Joey's coming.
you coming?
Yeah, I'll have a couple probably.
Okay.
I believe I'm the flipper of the switch.
Well, we can drop you
We could
off.
drop you off to do that.
Okay,
We're in the front.
all right.
Okay, and John's coming, so we'll all be there. Good. Have we heard from Northfield?
Yes, they thank you for the invitation, but they won't be able to attend.
Okay, okay. Sad to hear, but... Everything's fun time.
Yep.
All right.
Whoever heard of 4 selectmen? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty funny.
What on what paper? Oh, I didn't look at it. I'd send it back.
Is that a Department of Revenue form? I think it is. We'll call them dummies.
All right, November 10th, I'm going to bring the minutes of November 10th to the floor for discussion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Sure. Yeah. New Hampshire Veterans Home. Vietnam. No problem.
Just an FYI, under Public Works Director, when he suggested paving the sidewalks across the street and up the bridge to School Street in the section, they were too busy. to get it done this year.
Is Joyce going to be coming up? I have a question on the junkyard license. I don't see anything that pertains to and there probably isn't any concern, but I know they have monitoring wells there that are,
Oh, yeah.
so I didn't know I just want to know if they were in compliance, up to date with that monitoring process. I suspect the answer is yes, but just the same.
No. No. You want to come and make an announcement? Yeah. In the middle of doing minutes. Just wait for 1 second, we'll finish the minutes. Well, come on up, you can come up and wait. We're almost done. Do we have any other corrections or admissions or deletions? Hearing none, I make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected. All those in favor?
Yes.
All right. Use one of those black mics. Pull it down. There you go.
Good evening. I just wanted to remind the board that the Christmas Fund, Tilton Northfield Samberton's Christmas Fund applications are due tomorrow. Our numbers are down in terms of applications this year. We're a little concerned because we know the need is out there. So if everybody could, who's seeing this, remind friends, neighbors, seniors, anybody they know in need to get those applications in. The applications are available at all town halls and community action in Franklin. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Why on the Conservation Commission is one alternate?
I'm sorry, is that part of the coat? That's also part of the coat and boots, right? Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I want people to hear that because I know there's a couple of seniors out there that didn't know if there was a difference.
The program provides, just to clarify, new winter hats, coats, boots, snow pants for children. We provide food baskets and toys. We provide gifts for the elderly, warm blankets, and basically if somebody has a need and lets us know, we try to serve all needs that come in. So that's kind of what's going on.
Do we still collect lightly used coats? Or gently used, however they term it?
We keep gently used coats in the welfare offices so that we can serve them, but we try to give all new items out for Christmas.
Okay, because I know there's agencies that collect those and then...
Yes, there are, but
we
but
don't, okay.
for the holiday season, we try to make sure everybody gets new items
Nice.
and make sure they get a food basket, which is usually the holiday meal and a week's worth of food. So those applications, again, are about 2/3 of what they usually are at this point, so we're a little concerned. And the elves need to shop.
Thanks,
those
I
elves.
appreciate it, clarification.
On the Conservation Commission, one alternate is getting a stipend and one alternate is not?
I don't think that alternate comes anymore.
Okay. I mean, that's,
Ask John.
Is the one in there?
Yes.
I forgot you were here.
Did Parks Commission
So-
ever send theirs?
I know how much work she does, but does she,
If people don't show up for a certain number of meetings,
Okay.
give a minimum.
that was the assumption I was
Yeah.
making, but I didn't want to go on an
I
assumption.
think we took the total number of meetings and divide them by the amount. and if
That's-
you
that's the
go less than
proper-
a certain amount, then
That's the proper way.
it's still there if we need you, but
Joyce, we have a renewal for a junkyard license. Those monitoring wells are still active? Yes, no?
I believe they are.
Are they in compliance with everything from DES on those wells?
Well, it was Al that checked, so I'd have to check with Al. Al brought that in and he said that they're good to go.
Okay, because he makes no mention of it. I'm going to hold off signing it until we find out.
I was just looking at them
Okay.
to say.
I guess I shouldn't sign that.
Joyce, if we wanted to talk about accident reports in general, do we need to go in, we don't need to go in non-public, right? Oh, well, all right, we'll go in non-public.
Well, it's just that it's public information. Say there is a lawsuit that is sued. They're trying to determine fault.
Okay, I'll go in later, because we have concern on a couple that have come in.
Okay.
I have to ask why this request from the Sewer Commission is going through the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, I'm just keeping all the stipends together.
Because this Board of Selectmen have no authority over those monies.
That's fine.
it's just
That's fine.
doing-
I've just bashed them all in the stipends. They're all paid together.
Right, but this is not a request that should be made to the Board of Selectmen.
I know, just stick it, just attach it to the other items.
So you don't want us to sign it? I already did, that's the problem.
The issue I have is that we cannot pay anything out of accounts payable or payroll unless the selectmen has signed it.
Not the sewer monies, the Selectmen have no authority over those sewer funds.
So that is pro forma,
The internal controls, the Selectmen have no authority over those funds. They cannot release them, they cannot authorize them to be released, so it's almost an illegal act to have the Selectmen sign on that. And I think we've been keeping it separate too long. Or, I mean, we've not been recognizing it for what it is. It is patched for now.
the budget stuff that will be up.
He still has this November 3rd agreement in here.
What is that? Right, because the board hasn't voted. That's here. You ready? With my miscellaneous stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I extended the invitation from the Parks Commission to the Northfield Selectmen to ride in the parade on Saturday, and Glenn said the Northfield Selectmen would like to express their appreciation of the invitation to participate in the Christmas parade. Unfortunately, they will not be able to attend this year.
Joyce, I just opened this claim on the fence around Civil War Monument. Did anybody look in the camera?
Yes.
And they didn't find anything?
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh,
The person drove up towards Hannaford's and missed Winter Street, but decided to go into the Civil War, and then tried to back out, and then another car came up, got out of the car, tried to help him, and then took off, and then he backed up, and then drove down, almost down the sidewalk, and then went up Winter Street.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
And then,
So is that going to change this? Could not find any tire tracks?
Wednesday around 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Really?
Well,
No, I can send them the video. I can't get any fence companies to get back in touch with me to give me an estimate.
Fence?
I suggest you call crass people like David Court, David Huckins.
Dave Hucken works with cast iron.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about the repair guy down there on Route 3 across
I
from
think you're
Wilson's?
going to find most of them going to suggest cast aluminum. but-
Marges?
Sorry?
Gray marges? I don't know if he does.
I talked to Dave.
It's like restoration.
Oh, he'll weld, but this is different. This is cast iron. I think they're going to recommend cast aluminum.
Restoration,
Yeah, this is not, it's not going to be fun, Joyce.
All right, so Dave Court, actually, when somebody damaged the iron gate around the Arch Park Cemetery, it was your father and Byron that actually repaired it
I know.
as a gesture of
Oh, he loved it, trust me. He'd get his forge.
peace.
I watched him
Did
for a while.
Kevin take a look at it to see if it could be repaired?
I had asked him, and I haven't spoken to him since it happened.
You're going to need somebody that specializes.
So
Like David Court, and if David can't do it, he'll know somebody.
Dick Mayer.
Cast iron?
Dick Mayer might be able to tell you.
Dick Mayer would probably tell you.
David Huckins will definitely be able to either do it or tell you.
So did the highway department pick it up?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's up now.
I spoke with them this morning, I don't know, I think they were waiting for you to see if you had contacted the insurance before they picked them up.
I told them I had contacted.
Okay, then
Claim.
you say it's picked
I
up.
think it's up.
As of this morning, it
I
wasn't.
tried to
so-
get a police report at PD, Lisa said there was nothing actually filed. I took pictures and we have it on video, so I can also send it to you. The insurance adjuster, I have his name, he's just waiting to,
Anybody contact the car owner?
Well, they're looking, Tim was gonna look at another camera and another view to see if we could get closer to the license plate.
So on the stipends, what did the board decide on zoning board?
Prorate. To July.
And Parks Commission, kind of,
We don't have anything, there wasn't anything in there to file, to sign.
I sent an email to Bob Hardy and the commissioners earlier in the week.
so since you're a quasi municipal board, do you need the selectmen to sign?
You're the secretary though, right?
Because
He's a commissioner.
No, I'm an ex officio.
Commissioner.
what happens is, because this happened last year, so Bob's, we paid all his other
Well, who's on there now as a treasurer?
things.
All of them, I can tell you that all of them have, they work very hard, and I can't think of anyone that has missed a number of meetings. I mean,
Just need all of the names, who are on
I
there.
have them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have them. It's Michelle, Paul, I'm sorry, Robert Hardy,
Yeah?
Marina,
Marina,
Billy Lawrence.
Billy Lawrence.
Did you get your prizes?
But I
I
didn't
left.
put your name.
The Speedway prize?
Oh, I did. I put it downstairs in the
Okay.
office so they know where it was. Thank you.
Parks Commissioner?
Yeah.
No, I didn't because he's a selectman.
He's an ex officio member, so he wouldn't get a
I'm
stipend.
for paying, go ahead and pay them, we'll get them all
So
out at
just
once.
those,
Right.
Michelle,
I mean, and they've met almost every week for the past month, so,
and
I don't
Every other.
understand why we need our signature to each and every one. I don't understand why we do that.
because we need to authorize the finance officer to take those monies out.
So let us sign that paper and we'll just do that. For parks.
Or just write out, pay the park stipends. But, yeah, they all work very, very hard. I can attest to
some
that.
of these people receive more than one stipend check.
Different committees.
So I just wrote down pay park stipends on the bottom there. Now that covers everything, right?
Yes, that's everybody.
Did we do one for planning board? I didn't remember.
Actually, planning and zoning are both on the same.
Oh, I guess it was focused on zoning.
Okay, the last regular selectmen's meeting we had, in November, not the 21st, on the 17th, we held the fines check. I was wondering if that can be released. This is their final quarterly payment.
Since we met the last time about the Pines, they have got their childcare license and they got their security camera system, which I understand John Scanlon's installing it. So I would make a motion to that effect. Do I hear a
Second.
to pay him? Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
I declined to vote.
Okay. All right, so
Yes, we're-
noted.
Just a couple more. We're now at year end. As you recall, we settled the Fairpoint case that was in your next one, the Superior Court. And we had the option to pay them as a credit over 2 tax years or just pay them outright. There's no interest in payments involved. But over the years, well, actually since 2012, when we calculate the amount to put in overlay, we've always accounted for this money. So the money is there. Spoke with Tim, it would just be easier, cleaner, neater with our audit process and with the, just keeping records if we just paid it. So I sent an email out a couple weeks ago saying I was going to be asking the board to approve paying that. And then when I went back and reread the settlement agreement, we had 30 days to get back to them. So if I waited any longer than tonight, it might put it in jeopardy. So
Pay them.
I went ahead and had Tim make the check out, so. It's in your tables.
Do we have payables?
He might,
Oh, looks like they're down there.
yeah.
We have to appoint that.
So the good
Payables.
news is that for all of our abatements and appeals, all of our, this was the last of our 2 Superior Court cases.
Well, 63.
$6,300?
No, $63.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Really?
Is it called Fairfield?
His contacts.
Oh, it's under New England
Gee.
and
What's Joanne?
NET.
Get some.
MET.
Two manifests, sir? Yeah, we.
Yeah, but they wasn't on the other one either, I believe.
We got an Eversource.
This one is just Eversource, Energy North, and First National Bank of Omaha.
That doesn't really seem just.
Oh, and the Pitney Bowes.
And then ETO,
Yeah.
it's there. 21,000?
Yep,
Yeah, 690, yep, it's in. I haven't reached it in my pile, that's
So I have to include a cover letter with the check, copy of the agreement, send that to their tax department, and I'll call them ahead of time. I have the name of the gentleman. And also send a letter to Gary and John Radigan so that that can all be closed. The only outstanding appeal we have is MC&G. That's the Board of Tax and Land Appeal. And the last thing that Lauren did was she combined tax years 14 and 15. So to be heard at the same time. And the board had already approved for her to use Gary as an expert witness, but it hasn't been scheduled yet.
He hasn't been successful for any of these, right?
I'm sorry?
He hadn't been successful for any of these cases up until these two, right?
That is correct. He has not been successful, yes. Well, back in 2012, I think there was an adjustment made because of the data. You know, she received
That was,
additional
yeah.
information. He had also taken it to Superior Court, and that...
Failed.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, he's gone back to Board of Tax and Land. So as far as assessing, we're looking pretty good.
Nice.
That's the last thing. Been a few questions and inquiries from people on values.
173.
Easy to handle so far.
71.
Is Lauren coming in next
71.
Thursday? The 8th, yeah. So I've just been
173.
batching things for her. And
did we
we'll have
double
on the
pay?
7th.
One's Matt Dawson and one's Brock Mitchell.
Time on the agenda.
Oh, that's a...
Matt Dawson.
Oh, okay.
There.
Oh, they got
Brock is
Tuesday,
there.
that's right. Okay. I thought there was one more sheet. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but
And as I mentioned at a prior meeting, we can always just enter into just the assessing portion of the contract, not the data verification, for an additional month. So that as inquiries come in on the December tax bills, we can still refer them to her. And as far as abatement requests for 2016, I think we've only received 2 so far. The deadline isn't until March. So that's good, that's a good thing.
Yep.
So that- And then, we did that. And if you want to talk health insurance, now, I'm thinking that some of this will need to be in non-public, a good portion of it will need to be. But I can give you the overview in public. And I have some handouts for you. Everything that we're discussing tonight will have no impact on the budget.
One other thing before you get started. Tuesday is the last public hearing for the Housing Standards Ordinance
Okay?
at 6, I think it's 6:30.
And that's going to go on the warrant.
And then you prepare a warrant after that.
Yeah. And then, now, is the selectmen going to be putting that on the warrant?
Yeah, Dowry will. We're required to have 2 public hearings. We've already had one. One person from the 2 persons from the public showed up, and the board. And then Tuesday night will be our second public hearing. Then it goes to
Next week, Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah, the 6th. I think it's whatever Tuesday night is. Yeah. That was sent to you.
Downstairs.
12.6.
Oh, no, you put them in the packets.
I think I read through it, looked pretty good.
In the budget that you're looking at right now, it reflects the two plans that the town is keeping for 2017. The Blue Choice is gone, and the JY is completely gone. We offer the AB $20 copay, it's the old Matthew Thornton, but last year we increased the copay for the office visits. And this is the third or fourth year we've been offering the site of service plan, the AB 2040, $20 office visit copay, $40 specialty doctor's visit copay, with $1,000 deductible for a single, $2,000 deductible for two-person, and a $3,000 deductible for a family. And we have been offering that plan to employees where they don't pay any of the premium. The town pays 100% of the premium because it's less than the town's premium copay amount for the 80/20 plan. And we've also offered to pay them 25% towards their deductible, 25% of their deductible, which we paid them monthly. So a single plan would be $250, a two-person plan is $500, and a family plan is $750. Thinking that that's a wonderful enticement to have people cross over. And we have from time to time, we've had different people on that. Right now, I think we just have two. So, the health insurance industry in New Hampshire and nationwide, I've been to 2 workshops. But again, we still don't know what's going to happen with health insurance.
It's going to go kablooey.
The way the industry is moving is that the majority of the municipalities in the state that are with programs are going to a deductible plan. So, and we've already started early in getting people accustomed to that. This year, a lot of the municipalities are really feeling it because their premiums have increased tremendously to help us. We are very fortunate. Ours are only 5.3%, partly because we made the change earlier than other municipalities in the AD plan. And also we're pooled with groups of employers with less than 50 employees. Because now they're more closely rating the individual groups. So some, I don't want to say like Dover, but some of the larger places, they've seen the highest is a 23% increase in premiums. So we've been very, very fortunate. So the numbers that you have in your budget right now are based upon our current census for each of the two plans, with the current premium copays, 12% for non-union and 16.5% for union. And only about because of the census change, and some people go to family plans, some we have more buyouts than we've had in the past, so the buyouts have increased. Changes, but when you get the budget from Tim, you'll see that it's about $16,000, a little over $16,000 increase in the total budget for health insurance.
I know we've addressed this in the past. If we increased our buyout, do you think that we would get more buyouts?
You may. You had a spreadsheet that showed, where did that come from?
Oh, I can't tell you, I'd have to slap you.
Not yet.
Well, right in the middle. Tilton's right in the middle.
What do you mean in the middle of the amount that we offer for buyout?
For buyout. Northfield offers $10,000 for a family plan.
But they changed their insurance.
They offered, for a two-person, it's $3,800, and for a single, it's $3,800. Franklin, it's, for a single, it's $2,487, and for a two-person, it's $4,984, and for a family, it's $6,743.
The time to implement increases in buyouts is during open enrollment, when there's sufficient time if a spouse or family member is trying to get on other insurance.
Are all our employees aware that we have buyout?
Yes, and all of the open renewal information, they receive that information right in the cover letter.
Last year, you didn't think that a lot of people, the people that we have, but we have new employees now. We don't know.
Two of them have taken it.
Okay, so, already.
Not new employees, but we have increased the number of buyouts.
So it wouldn't matter whether we increase the monetary value.
If we were to do that right now, we would just be increasing the people that are currently receiving.
And that wouldn't, it wouldn't matter. That would just be giving them extra money in their pocket, right? The only reason I would want to increase that is to entice more people to do that.
To buy out, yeah.
Right. You don't think that that would do that?
Well, I don't know where, they still would have time if they wanted to go on a spouse's plan.
Because it's still during open enrollment.
Would that be something that during next year, we could send a little survey out?
Even if we didn't increase it, it's still enticing. I think for a lot of people, it's which insurance is better. Some people might have bought the cheapest insurance they could find just to comply. And then, this is better.
So that leads into, I do have the transmittal form to be signed, which is keeping our current plans. We also have the Medicomp for retirees with prescription, without prescription coverage. We have our dental, and Health Trust also offers our COBRA and retiree filings. They do all that for us. And I think I had mentioned at a prior meeting that our life insurance and long-term disability insurance stayed the same, and our short-term disability went down a couple cents. I'm just trying to see now, and I know every year you say the same thing, that they don't give enough lines to sign, but it's on the very last page. And we were supposed to have this last week, before November 30th, but I explained to them that we're meeting tonight, and I'd get it signed tonight, so there's no problem. So if you want to push that. So in your packets, I gave you some information on benefit strategies. There's a couple of companies that do this work. This is the company that Health Trust recommends. I've had prior work experience with this company. They're great. And they can offer the health reimbursement accounts. This is a way that, see, right now, we just pay the deductibles for people that are on...
Disappeared. I read it. It's good. A lot of information.
Yes, and you don't have to make any decisions tonight. In fact, I can have Wendy come in and talk with you, because at some point I'm just going to need some scenarios from the board. I've played with a few scenarios, but I need, you to tell me what you would like to see.
What do you recommend?
Well, I think that we want to Right now, the base plan that we offer employees is the AB 20. What I'd like to do is to make the base plan be the AB 2040 site of service plan with the deductible. It's a lower in premium. Still keep the AB 20 so that an employee, if they wanted to keep their current plan, they could, but the only amount that the town would contribute would be the amount that's being contributed to the site of service plan.
So there'd be no contribution in the AB 20?
No, they would still contribute.
No, the town wouldn't. Is that what you said?
No, the town still would.
Okay, I
But
lost you.
employee, the town's contribution would just be the amount that the town contributes to the AB 2040 deductible.
Oh.
We used to do that when we had multiple blue choices. So that, but that plan has gone away. So that if somebody wanted to, they could stay with the current plan, but it's capped the amount that the town pays, and they pay a premium above that. So that you would see some savings. See, we have two groups. We have union and non-union. So it's the same plans for both groups, also our retirees and our COBRAs. Same plan choices. It's just that between the two groups, you can adjust three variables. The premium co-pays, how much you require them to pay. You can adjust on the SOS plan, same thing, you want us to pay, right now we pay 100%. You can start charging for the premium co-pays. And you can continue to pay towards the deductible, but the way you would pay towards the deductible, if you make a contribution to that, is to do this through the Section 105 program.
Is that the HRA thing?
This is the HRA. Because there's a tax benefit to both the employer and the employee. You don't pay any taxes on it. You don't pay any retirement on it, because you're reimbursing them for their expenses. And once you decide what percentage you want to reimburse for the expenses, currently we do 25%, but with Health Trust, they'll allow you to go as high as 50%. Not everybody that's in that census will be accessing medical care requiring to submit their deductible. So you have to kind of wait until you see what your history is with your population, but benefit strategies gives you a percentage that you can safely use. You also need to decide if you're going to be making these contributions towards their deductibles, do you want to wait and have the employee pay first half, so that they've exhausted the amount that they're going to pay, and then you put in the rest of it, which they recommend, because you want to make it easy, but not too easy. Because the whole point is to get the employees to think about their health care, how they access their health care, how they use it.
Now, there's a wellness benefit involved with these
Yes.
programs, right?
Yes.
Gym memberships and counseling and nutrition
Money,
and
cash money.
cash money. So there is a way for employees to be involved in their own health and health care
Yes.
and be reimbursed along the way, educated and reimbursed.
Yes, and Health Trust will come out and do work sessions with the employee and their spouse to explain how to do that. Or do we have to do that if we did make that our base plan, because everybody would have to switch over to that. And then also with the healthcare reimbursement account, we have lots of options, and I'd have to have Wendy come out and talk with the board. Most of the municipalities are using a third party to pay these medical expenses. Because as an employer, you don't want to be messing with anybody's medical bills.
So we would still keep the ABS 20,
Yes,
but offer the ABS 20 SOS,
which we already offer,
and then just offering the two?
just the two.
That's it.
That's it. For all groups. But think about is making a deductible plan our base plan. And then between the two groups, those variables I talked about.
And that's when we need to go into non-public. All right.
And just to kind of let you know how it works, I worked up a quick scenario, and then Tim's got the mega spreadsheet, but this is just to kind of show you how it works, so I kept it real simple. But we can take all those different scenarios and see what the impact is on the town budget for savings, how much of the savings can be returned to the employee in terms of the HRA, or raise or lower the premium co-payment. So this is a real simple one. This is just, and I'm just using one of the groups, as you can see. Right now, that's the census for 2017. That's our current census. And that tells you the amount monthly. And then the monthly amount times the number of employees. Okay? So when you get down to the bottom, where it says total annual 249,267, multiply that by the current amount that the town pays of that. So it's 208,138. And if you go over, you can see that then now it switches from the AB 20 over to the SOS plan, using the same census. And what it
That's
is,
if they went all in.
if they went all in.
Okay.
Again, this is just a rough model. You can see that the monthly premium, and this is at 100%, there is a savings of $7,209 in that scenario. Then, if you also decide to kick in towards the HRA, towards the deductibles, which the maximum is 50%, I just plugged in what we use now, which is 25%. And I just picked half of it will be used. If you deduct that, there's still a savings. So the goal of this model is to share a portion of the premium cost savings with the employee as an incentive to change plans. For the 2017 premium co-payment amount, I left that for right now at 100%. The deductible usage, I figured 50%. There is a cost to joining and maintaining the healthcare reimbursement account. It's $350 for them to write the plan, because this is like our Section 125 plan, and it has to be vetted by the IRS, since it is, we're getting a preferable tax treatment for it. And then, I believe it's $4 per member per month that you only pay if there's bills that are paid. And the other thing that's good is that the Health Insurance Trust has reduced the amount. Every now and then we talk about offering a flexible spending account for things like co-payments that
Right.
deductibles don't cover. And
Yeah.
you know, like, geez, I'm gonna have 5 doctor's visits, that you can put that money in the flexible spending account. They've reduced their administrative fee from like $4.50 per member to $2.50 per member. So that would be another thing that we can add. And again, there's nice tax advantages to having flexible spending accounts and the HRAs, and that the flexible spending account, you can do that pre-tax. They make their contributions pre-tax. And the HRA is not taxable. Whereas right now, we're paying taxes on both the employee and employee. So that's the scenario. Now we just can, spend some time looking at numbers.
All right, so now go into non-public. All right. I'll make a motion to go into non-public for RSA 91A:3, personnel, right? Because we're talking about
Yes.
Second.
roll call vote.
Yes.
We are red is on, time being 7:35. I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to public safety permanently, as they pertain to contract negotiations, until such time as those negotiations might be completed, and as they pertain to personnel permanently.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion that no, I can make in the announcement anyway.
Just an
right?
announcement.
Okay. We make an announcement that we hired Officer Nadine Opechek, sorry, from, who will arrive January 2nd for $22.25 an hour, replacing Chris Paquette.
Not really.
Let's not go there anymore.
All right.
Well, he's not. People are gonna go, what?
They did a verbal, when they came into the budget committee, and they said did some fundraising, and then they said they lowered it. That's why.
So in any case, what you have in front of you is what the budget will look like tomorrow, and it's got the proper footers in it and all that, but I just made the change for the hire that you just made. So the one I gave you doesn't have a date stamp or page numbers, but this has those changes as reflected. I also made the change you requested to add or remove, separate out the sanitation line from Public Works. So if you look at the cover page of the one I just handed out, you'll see that Public Works budget for 16 shows $624,784, and sanitation for $54,995. And then you can see what the changes are in 2017. There's a 4.5% increase in the Public Works budget, but a 24.6% increase in sanitation, which is due to the changes in our anticipated contracts. So, overall, you can see that the budget itself for the operating expenses is going up 1.7% as currently budgeted, or $85,300. And when you factor in what would be the anticipated warrant articles, pardon me, with the exception of the engineering one, which I'm anticipating is not going to be repeated, we're looking at a 1.4% increase year over year. There, on the online version for you, there are a lot of notes in the department request columns. There we have, excuse me, yes.
Couldn't help but notice that the budget in 2016 for warrant articles came to, oh no, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, there's no subtotal. That's
No,
sewer.
okay, I'm looking at the sewer number.
Right.
How could they be the same? I'm thinking,
Well,
if
we
this
don't-
is $7,000 left.
We don't have
I get it.
We don't have a
No
2017 sewer figure yet, but because the sewers are passed through,
Yeah,
there's that amount of revenue and that amount of expense, so
Yes.
it has no bearing on our
yes.
So in any event, what I would like, either tonight or at a subsequent meeting before we meet with the Budget Committee, is for the selectmen to vote. I did put in certain areas where you had already made decisions and voted on those things, which, such as the welfare general assistance line. And I think there were a few others which are under the outside agencies on the very last page. And also the expenses are updated as of tonight. So the payables that you saw on the table, those are all in here as well. And we are coming in, we're still coming in under budget, but December is usually a month of high expenses for us. And we have had some expenses that have been approved but haven't been paid for yet in Public Works. I know that they've received the hoist for the lift.
Bumper lift, yeah.
As well as the tire changer. So, that's 6,000 something that's going to be coming through that we wouldn't ordinarily have.
Okay. We held out on this because Joe couldn't make it on the outside agencies. We took the ones that we knew would be
Contentious.
yes.
In information and technology, I noticed that communications went up a little bit. And we haven't made a decision on that.
Communication.
Or no, on services, the one above it.
Where are we at?
Isn't that the,
Back in
I find
police?
myself here. There we are.
isn't that the one where,
I removed the, I had to refigure some things, so I removed the additional users, and there is no new configuration here that we talked about at the last meeting. That's still something that could be done prior to the end of the year in this year's budget.
so how come it wasn't reduced?
Because it was a recommended, it wasn't in the total.
You didn't include it in the 19,839? But the 15,732 went up to 15,840.
Right, and that's because we now have Brock on a better plan than what we had before for the Public Works Director. They were able to take pictures of things,
Right.
communicate better. So
Have I ever shown you my phone?
What's that?
Have I ever shown you my phone? $10 a month, it takes pictures.
I know. So you're looking at a difference, I think, of $8.
I was just curious what caused it
Thank
to.
you, because I was going to say it.
I'll be standing next to it when it goes off, because it's alarming.
And,
So we did see a reduction, a pretty significant reduction in the communications line for our landlines, but our wireless are going up because we also have an additional, air card as well, so.
I will never understand why we have to have cell phones. The police have all kinds of radios. The highway department has radios, and they have landlines.
But
They get
Rather than
calls from-
belabor it, I
they
just
get
want to put
calls
it out
from
there.
people.
I don't get it.
Well, I wanted to talk to a cop.
what are you paying cell phones for? The chief.
The chief,
Heather.
Heather, and we paid
Al.
for the prosecutor, which is pending. That one's
Right.
pending, but we'll be paying I'm anticipating some type of stipend, the current prosecutor. And then there are phones for there are three frontline, I believe, there's 3 or 4. There's 3, and there's a,
Are they in the car themselves?
yeah, generally they're left in the car. You see them in the console. And it's for where, Belknap will radio them and say so-and-so wants to talk to them, or rather than having to drive back to the police department, they can make a call without having to use a personal cell phone, so that there's no record of
Their
them
personal cell
personally
phone.
talking to,
Making a private call?
well, no, making a call to either a victim or a perpetrator, or just someone offering information, so.
Traceable.
It's all kept on police, on town of Tilton equipment, in other words. All the business activities provided for business equipment.
Did we get a breakdown of the
We only-
Conservation Commission's budget?
Back to IT, I was looking to see the categories,
Yes.
which it goes to which departments.
Yep, and I started on that, I just haven't completed it yet. I do have a pretty detailed breakdown of it in that that tab, but
I didn't look at it.
if you are in the online budget and you go down to, if you're looking at info tech, you'll see there's a link to the supporting document. And if you just click on that, it'll open it up, and it'll give you everything. It's just for the hardware, it shows exactly which department it's going into, and I just need to do a similar tab for the software and services. Some of it is.
I'm not getting all that department in the infotech.
Sure. Do you see where? Are you on the infotech tab?
I am.
Okay. Do you see underneath the ABC notes?
Supporting document.
So when you highlight it, you'll see it pops up a little thing. You just mouse over on that thing and click it, and it'll open up the supporting document.
Okay.
So there's very little hardware, and as I know the board is aware, but we make use of free equipment from the courts. In fact, the new town clerk tax collector counter printers, which are replacing, I think, 11-year-old printers from the state, those were at no cost to us, and they're enterprise printers. They're really expensive printers, but with very low-cost consumables. So, relative to the expense of the printer. So we're very fortunate, and they're very fast and very. We're going to be very good. We also have a number of systems that will be able to be replaced from court equipment, and right now I've got a hold on a server. It's a low-end server, but a server and a few other pieces of equipment from the court that will be available in March, including an AV card for up here. So wherever possible, as long as there's not a cost to it and we can incorporate it somehow, it works. So the hardware is actually very low. The software is really just the existing software that we have. And I'm looking for ways to streamline some of the internal processes that Grace and I and other department heads have identified as being weaknesses that we need to shore up. Better communication and better throughput of workflow of documents and storage of documents. So I think we're going to be able to come up with some solutions that aren't going to cost us anything, but just the processes have to be kept, have to be adhered to. So are you all able to see that? Mm-hmm. There really aren't a lot of surprises in there. We're saving $2,820 over our phone costs from the prior year. So we have a significant savings there, but we're spending more in cellular communications than we did last year, and that's probably going to continue on that route. So the world is wireless. What can I say?
Radios are wireless.
That's right.
Clerk Tilton,
What's that?
changing from Everett Bridge to one call.
Yeah, so one of the things that I was trying to do is, and the school district uses this one-call system. I've demoed it, I've tested it. It works very similarly to what we have now, except it's a per-unit pricing. So you pay for the use. You don't pay a lump sum fee for the entire year. So this would give us 11,000. No, I'm sorry. I believe it's. Do I have it in there? It's 13,000 contacts, I believe, through this, and some contacts are considered a half a unit, some are a full unit, but basically I figured on, right now we're sending out about 4 to 6 alerts a year, and this would handle us for about 15 alerts. We have roughly actual contacts in our alert system, about 758 contacts.
Got like mine 5 times.
Well, you're considered a contact, though. That's considered one contact.
Oh, just one contact.
So we could use this to help with the recycle bins or...
Well, and we still have our alert ticketing system through, in fact, I think the contract actually goes through the end of January. I had negotiated an extra month. So, and this type of thing, these units don't expire, so you don't have to continually purchase them. So once you've purchased your stockpile of units, you just buy more when you need them. And
What's the price difference?
Oh, it's the Everbridge was $34.95.
And this is
And we're looking at-
1,100?
To start with, and there's a very small setup fee, I think it's $250 setup fee.
Sounds good.
And then we just buy units as we need them. If for some reason we found that, we were just sending out 10 a month and it's costing us more than it's worth, then, we could certainly go to something else, we'll go back to Everbridge. The other thing about this, the downside of this is that it doesn't have the ability to draw a geographic circle, or outline a specific street by drawing something.
All or nothing?
Well, no, you can define contacts by certain areas, so then you just check off, I want, these geographic areas.
You have to figure it out.
You're not going to be able to graphically draw a figure on a map, and it would capture whatever contacts are in there. So it's not, but I have to say that, and I think I can probably speak for the chief too, in all the contacts we've sent out, I'm only aware that we've used that once. We've probably used it more than once, but it's not something, it takes a lot of extra time to do that.
Well, Everbridge was sending that, like John was saying, I would get sometimes, I had 5 alerts under my selectmen's emails for the same incident. Plus my home email, plus my cell phone,
Yeah.
plus my home phone.
Right.
Seems like that they're spinning their I'm spinning their wheels a lot.
It also depends, when whoever is sending out the alert, it depends on the training too, because there are ways to limit that, but sometimes if it's a serious enough thing, you might want that, as many contacts and, as much frequency. So you can set the frequency, how many per hour, you can set how many for this entire thing, so it just sends out once to all of them. With one call now, you can tell it only the primary contact method. So you might be a phone call, you might be a text message.
I'm getting them everywhere.
But, so you can define that very easily in the system. You can say, just send it to the primary contact, and...
But none of these systems are really effective unless we have a multitude of town residents enrolled in it.
Right.
So if we're going to, to send out a notice, it's like with Everbridge, what percentage of townspeople are connected to it?
Well, it's a good question, because the people that are in there, the 758 contacts, aren't necessarily residents.
Right.
So, anyone can sign up. There is a portal for this system as well, and there's an app for the phones to use for the system. As I said, the school district uses it.
If we're going to use one effectively, we're going to have to send a mailing out.
Good idea. Sounds like we're going to be doing a lot of mailings.
No, we could put it in with the motor vehicles. You can't put it in with the tax bills, but you could put it in with the motor vehicles.
For the dogs.
Reminders with the dogs.
There's certain things we send out.
I'd send it with both, because some people might not necessarily have a car, only have a dog, and vice versa.
Print up a little
Yep,
colorful thing.
an insert, yeah.
What do we do for, how are we doing on miscellaneous storage for different software that we have? Like the body cameras, are we doing some other files that we store online, the systems?
A lot, yeah. In fact, the body cameras are all kept within Taser's product called evidence.com. So that is all part and parcel of that 4679 is there.
Okay, that comes under there.
Yep, that's all included in that. The outside of that, I have been pushing more into compressed, encrypted storage in the cloud. So we have been seeing higher costs with that, and I've also been experimenting with,
Is it the $600 you're talking about, or are you talking about miscellaneous
yes,
services?
no, that's it right there, the $600.
$600.
Yep. And in fact, we're probably, our run rate right now is a little higher than that, but I'm working on a plan to manage that and reduce some redundancy that we currently have. I have to do something for that. But the important thing is that we have a plan and that we're protecting things securely. And that's the big thing right now. In fact, there are going to be requirements probably for encrypted email at the PD. There's also some other security things we have to do with some of our networking over there, that we've met all the FBI requirements and NCIC requirements, but there's some things coming down the pike that all police departments, IT-wise, are going to have to do, and we're going to have to do that as well. And I have that incorporated within this budget.
Have we incorporated the new package for the cars? Did we buy printers for the tickets? And that was a thing.
Right, no. We are, and we'll know by the end of the month. We're working on that grant for that, so that we're hoping will all be paid for by the grant. And the printers, I believe there's a separate grant that may cover some or all of those printers, all of the printers, yeah. So hopefully we will be beneficiaries of that.
Now, Highway only has one cell phone, right?
They have one cell phone, that's
You're
right.
not planning on expanding it beyond the one that we're paying for, right?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Because they all have radios. Yeah, I can see the boss man having
Well,
a phone if he has to
and when we
call.
get to the Public Works line, you'll see that there's, he did up the radio communications line to be able to buy 2 mobile handsets, 2 new mobile radios.
What's that?
That's in the Public Works budget when we get to that point, but yes.
Yeah, remind
So,
me.
we have talked about.
$2,500.
What kind
For
of
what?
communication needs.
He went from $1,000 to $2,500.
Right, to purchase.
$1,500 for 2 radios?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We don't need to have the top things. The guys are within a few feet of the trucks. It's, okay,
Well,
let's finish this line.
right, so in any event, we do have the capability, there's so many security things that we can turn on with our existing Google apps. They now call it G Suite, but we're really going to have to be looking more at the encryption, what goes outside of our domains in terms of confidential information, anything relating to personnel, social security numbers, things of that sort, that we always have to protect.
I love the confidential. If you're reading this, stop, because you're not supposed to. It's confidential. I'm like, really?
So,
Don't send it over the internet.
So there's a lot that has to be done there, a lot of work, complying with requirements. So, outside of that really pretty much is, that's the IT side of things. Did you want to go through any of the administration, finance, or town clerk, tax collector?
Outside agency.
Yeah,
I think we did that.
town clerk, tax collector.
In there.
We didn't pick a number for it, right?
For what?
Well, we
We
have to
don't
do our
pick a number.
recommendations? Well, I don't understand, I just want to make sure that my thoughts is where it comes for the recommendation from selectmen, it should be whatever the wage is now, and she should bring that raise to the floor to ask for the voters.
We didn't do that last year.
I know.
You didn't like the...
Everybody, excuse me.
The budget would have to be amended on the floor to reflect an increase. If she wants an increase, she'd have to stand up and
It's the
ask.
selectmen's budget. We can put any amount we want.
We can.
This is
I
the
get that.
default budget. The budget committee will get this and put whatever amount they want.
That's right.
I'm just stating my opinion that I think.
But that's
that we should
interesting.
That we should put it in there, because she's not coming to us for a raise, she's going to the townspeople.
That's
And it's
correct.
an elected position.
That's correct.
But
Deputy
as
is
a
different.
department head, she's putting it in under her budget,
It's not her budget.
and she's putting it under her
If we
category.
put anything
is
in
our
recommended,
budget.
we should
Bottom.
leave it blank or put it, I don't know. I know, I'm
I'm standing too close.
just
What does the
thought,
board want to do?
So this draft budget we're working on, these final lines say department requests, and then you have a column that says 2017. Eventually, that department request goes away, and it becomes 2017 Selectmen's budget. Correct?
Selectmen approved, right.
In the past, we've always shown the department request column to the budget committee, so they could see.
I mean, when it goes out in the,
Town report.
I think in the town report, I think we've always printed the department request as well.
have we?
Because it generates, generates questions. I can check on that, but, don't you know, Joyce?
Just do selectmen and budget committee.
Is that all? Let me take a quick
Department
I'll take a
request
quick
is
look.
because
There's a
the budget
report over there.
requires that the budget committee, the department heads are supposed to make the request to the budget committee, or, I'm sorry, the budget committee can request budgets from the department heads.
They can request any information from anybody that has anything to do with town,
So that's why we.
even individual patrol officers,
But I'm
employees.
pretty sure because,
Can you look it up?
yeah, I'm looking at the, yeah. I'll pull it up right
But how
now.
long does your battery last? Mine would never last that long.
Oh, 9 hours. This is a Chromebook. I'm just remote desktop.
My only problem with what John is suggesting is if we don't have a department request there, it gets lost because we'd put 52,800 under the selectmen's column, 61,204 wouldn't be anywhere. Her proposed, so here's the thing. She should not be getting a merit raise.
She doesn't.
She doesn't.
She doesn't, okay, I don't remember.
We did away with that a long time ago.
Okay,
It's like 4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah,
It just
that's-
goes into the wage.
I couldn't
Adjustment,
vote for
that's
a
it.
merit wage for her,
This is
well, I think by law, we're not supposed to.
and that's why.
But does she-
The town meeting sets her wage,
that's a
period.
department
This is what
request.
we showed last year. That's in the,
So we did show the department request.
and we have each year.
Okay. So knowing that, if we continue to do that, would you suggest that in the selectmen's line, we put 52,800?
The 52,800.
57,200, she hasn't been paid for December.
Expense.
I don't agree with
Oh,
Oh,
budget.
yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry, thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
I would, if you cut her down at 52, she's gonna be really pissed. And rightly so.
Oh, it's just a mistake. So you'd be suggesting putting the
I would say
57,200?
57,200, because we do not give her a review
She's
or
already making 52.
57,200.
57,200.
And it's because we do not give her a review, we do not recommend any type of salary for her. She answers to the voters, or the taxpayers, and not to us, so she should be going to them for it.
She's making 57,200. Her salary was retroactive to January 1st, when it was approved at town meeting, and she's paid $1,100 a week.
I suppose if we were 100% true to the law, we wouldn't recommend an increase.
I'm surprised we,
I don't recommend an increase as a taxpayer.
I
But
think
that's
she has
just
to
me.
go right to the floor and tell the, I don't want to even get in the
Nothing to
middle
do
of it.
with the person, just the position. I'm okay with 57,200.
In the past, we've left it alone and let the budget committee and let the legislative body decide on it.
But both the selectmen and budget committee have always put a number in to show that, the totality of the budget.
Right. It is what it is, we've left it alone.
Left it alone for
But if you leave it, if you look at the law,
We're saying we're approving
well, the
rate.
legislative body is supposed to determine the town clerk tax collector's wage. If the selectmen put in 61,204, then we're recommending that wage, but the law says that we should not.
So that's a 5-person vote? And we just vote and move on?
I don't agree that we're voting on it. I'm agreeing that we're just passing it through like we do the sewer. We're not recommending the sewer one way or another, it's a pass-through. It's in our town report here, but we don't agree on it, we don't vote on it, it's up to the legislative body. It's not even up, it's a pass-through. It's got to go through.
I mean, she put that number in, that's her department request, you should carry it forward, carry it through.
I would think so too. And that's what it looks like was done last year.
Yeah, but we did it wrong for a lot of years, so we may have done it last year.
We did it wrong because we were giving her a merit raise.
Well, we were doing it wrong because the selectmen were,
We shouldn't be giving her
Giving,
merit
you know.
raise. We shouldn't even be involved in that.
We
That's right.
straightened that out years ago.
We should
Years
just-
ago, we
she should
straightened
say-
that out, John.
Yeah. well,
I don't think
mean,
we've straightened it
the
out
amount.
yet, I agree with
It's on
John.
paper,
If
so
we're
It's not
gonna,
on the paper.
it should be,
it should
under
be
the
written as
selectmen's
what the
column, it
previous
should be,
budget was, and then she goes to the
Yeah.
voters to amend it, presents her case like it's a review, employee review, and boom.
under the selectmen's column, it should be
How many want it
57.2.
left alone here as it is?
What's left alone?
Just let it go.
I think it should be left under department.
Department
61,204.
request or...
It's not that simple a question. I think it should be,
61,204.
I think it should be left in department request, since we leave that column in, as 61,204. But the selectmen should not be recommending a raise. It should be 57,200 under the selectmen's column.
That's telling the people that we took a vote and said she doesn't deserve a raise, just the opposite of what you're trying to tell the legislative body.
There is another
No.
aspect
Yeah.
to this.
No,
You do-
because the law says the selectmen will not give her a raise.
No.
So if we put 61,204, we took a vote and gave her a raise.
Well,
You can't have it both ways.
They
The
just
monies that are in
stamp
that department request column also generate New Hampshire retirement. There's about 5 different lines that's going to affect.
That aren't
If
right
you-
here.
Well, that's in that bottom line number for department request, that if you have a different number under selectmen approved, are going to change a whole bunch of other lines in there.
And
I'd rather
Not
put,
by a
I'd
lot,
rather
but-
leave the line blank than put 61,204 or 57,200.
I would like to see a blank.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But
I'd
we
rather
can't
see it
put-
blank, because otherwise 57,200.
Then there's no decision.
You're telling her that we don't recommend a raise, and it's not up to us, or 61,204, you're recommending a raise, and it's not up to us.
But we have
Either way.
$1.
I think that's a great Solomon decision.
I could live
However,
that blank.
the retirement stuff,
Blank.
what would you put those numbers as?
Do we have authorization to pay her until town meeting? That's just blank.
That's just the
Yes, we do.
selectmen's approved.
She's
are on
already
the
been
same rate.
approved to town meeting.
The legislative body
budget.
voted on her wage, so you have,
And it's department.
Of
your budget from January until town meeting is paying the absolute necessary, this budget isn't voted on until March.
Right.
So your current budget, 2015 budget, stands until town meeting.
Well, to 2016.
2016, thank you. I just happened to look at that number when I was talking.
Yeah.
This budget doesn't go into effect until it's voted in. I like the blank.
How many feel it should be blank?
Yes.
Blank.
Blank if we can.
Or will it automatically change it once you zero?
Well, no, I'll just have to break.
You can't zero it.
No, but, well, what are you going to put in it?
Nothing. Absolutely
Empty
blank.
cell.
That's why we said blank, an empty cell.
That
So-
changes the every other thing.
That's okay. I'll just disconnect the other things from it. It'll be fine. It's not a big deal.
That's why we said blank. You can't zero it, because then you have to add it.
No, I know.
You can't add it.
It's just that.
So you're
with
just
it-
gonna deduct that cell from the bottom number.
Well, on DRA's forms, if there's a blank, it's generally, I mean, I know it's not going to go that far. Never mind.
Well,
I got it.
it's what comes out of town meeting, isn't it, that goes on DRE's form?
Yes. Yeah.
So-
So there'll be something.
I suspect that's not going to be blank.
Right.
And you have to
I
remember,
suspect it's
the
not
selectmen is only the default budget. The budget committee's budget is what they're going to vote on.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's just that to a townsperson, are you, when they look at the bottom line number, they're not going to see what it takes to run the town in total. It's going to be that minus the town clerk, tax collector's wage.
Exactly. But if you put down 61,204, you're recommending that there's a raise, and we don't have the authority to recommend a raise. And if you leave it at 57,200, we're recommending not a raise, the appearance of not a raise, and we don't have that authority to recommend not a raise.
If we were going to do this in the purest form, it would be a warrant article.
Then, yeah, that's right.
That's what it would be.
And that's what some towns do, I believe, don't they?
So why not put in her existing wage now?
Star by it, you know, an asterisk, and then
No.
Can we
thing
put
would
her
say-
existing wage now and do it as a warrant article?
Why would you want to do that?
That's the purest form.
Yeah, that seems like it's a lot of trouble.
But is it, that's the same thing that's going to happen anyway.
Yep.
We're just going to put in
How do
order.
you know what's going to happen?
There's going to be a discussion. No matter what we do here, they're going to see Department of Corp request 61,204. Somebody's going to do the percentage of increase. And, I mean, I can think of half a dozen people that are going to bring that up in the floor.
Oh, we have it.
Think of one,
I have it
real quick.
noted right there.
Last year, it didn't get brought up,
It didn't get brought up last
because
year.
people didn't notice it.
Right.
It wasn't that huge of an increase, and it was discussed.
Very,
It was
very
discussed
little.
very briefly,
No, the year before.
but the year before it was lower.
Last year, it
Lowered,
just
right.
got
The rate of increase
right
was
over it,
lower.
and I was shocked that nobody said it. It was.
I thought there was a small discussion about it last year.
Very, very small.
Okay.
That was it. It was a
But
spoken.
this one isn't going to squeak by.
All right, so you're going to leave that blank.
Right.
Yep, that's what we'll do. I'm gonna color code that. Make sure it's good.
What do you want to do? Are you leaving it blank, or do you want the original, or what do you want to do?
My thought was put the original in an asterisk or something like that. You know, highlight it in some way to show that.
If we put in the original, we're not recommending anything either way.
Yes, we are, it's the selectmen's budget.
Well, may I offer?
We're keeping it that in the
It's a
legislature.
selectmen's budget after town meeting.
May I offer?
No, this is the selectmen's budget right here.
Budget will we vote on at town meeting,
I've got an
Kevin?
idea.
We are creating the
Budget will we
selectmen's
vote on town meeting?
default budget.
I understand that. And whose budget do we vote on at town meeting?
Budget committee.
Budget
But
committee.
we're not creating the budget committee's budget. That's what they do. We're creating our default budget.
All right, Tim.
You really need to read
Budget
chapter
committee.
32.
All right,
Budget committee
Tim.
You
doesn't
really
do it.
do.
You guys, that we have to.
I know how it works, Kevin.
Why don't you read chapter 32? You wouldn't have asked that question.
Because it's
He's got a good idea.
Well, the only thing I was thinking was you could have a second line underneath the top line that would say salary increase town clerk tax collector 2017, and then just have the amount that she's requesting for the increase as a separate component. So the top line would be her existing salary. The next line would be the increase that she's requesting. So that it wouldn't be, so maybe it'd be more clear that way, that this is what she's already earning, this is what the increase is.
I think we're wasting too much time on it because it's the budget committee's budget, whatever
What
they
if she doesn't
present.
get voted in?
Well, and therein lies the problem. If we put 61,204 in there and it doesn't get
I agree.
voted down,
Totally agree. That's why.
and somebody who has absolutely no experience
It's gonna
gets
walk
voted
into a
in,
position for $61,204.
Bingo.
Their expectations, it's gonna be that.
Get amended.
You'd amend it.
If somebody,
hopefully.
hopefully somebody would do it. But their expectation
If
of
you're
the
there, you
job
would.
It's gonna be
is gonna be
$61.
$61,000 job, why not?
I got it blank. I got it blank. So,
You want to put down clerk?
That's my town politics thing.
No, you're running.
so is that the consensus?
You are.
Blank? Leave it blank with a note.
I wouldn't even put a note, just the, like,
No note?
I know, I kind of like the idea of splitting it.
in the big scheme of things, they're gonna talk about it anyway. So
Yep.
probably it should be blank. and-
Blank.
Okay.
All right,
Blank it is.
all right, blank it is. So blank.
You,
All right, let's move on.
okay.
Outside agencies?
Oh, I agree and finished highway.
Did you want to review anything in administration? And if not, were you prepared to vote on the administration budget?
Can we vote on the bottom line when we're done? It just takes up more time every time we vote on every single,
That's fine.
I'm just amazed that we haven't gone into Christmas yet. I was just looking at miscellaneous expense, because we overexpend that every year. So, but it was December 1st, we're going to spend.
so do we have any explanation from our Public Works Director on his equipment maintenance and repair
Yes, we do.
and his equipment supplies?
Not on the equipment supplies, but on the equipment maintenance repair, he said that each truck would be serviced 3 times a year instead of 1, which costs between $400 to $500 per service per truck. We've already spent close to $1,000 just getting the trackless ready to plow, and it carries high maintenance costs to keep it in tip-top shape and provides safety to the driver as well as the public. He goes on to say that that line also includes cutting edges and carbides will need replacing. It also includes lawn equipment maintenance in that line, stockroom nuts and bolts restocking, and then preparedness for breakdown on all equipment.
Why did he increase building supplies?
Well, let's go back up. Let's knock that down 1,000.
Well, you said we're gonna service
Which line
the
are you at?
big trucks 3 times a year?
Yeah.
That we've been doing for a year, for forever?
Yeah,
How many miles do we put on those trucks in a year?
right. Let's knock it down 1,000.
So you're saying we don't need to service them 3 times a year?
No, they haven't.
Well,
Spring and fall?
The Peterbilt, I think, has something like 7,800 miles on it or something like that.
Well, and the 90 International has what, under 100,000? So how many miles a year are we putting on? Yeah.
You know, and it really isn't the mileage. It depends on how you take care of the vehicle.
And most of the time they're parked in the garage.
I think it says needed.
Summertime, anyway.
Like,
Well, they
based on
are,
hours.
my impression is that they're doing much more maintenance and more thorough maintenance on the vehicles. That's what it seems to me.
But not
If we had
I'm sorry,
$1,000
I
off,
misspoke.
$3,000 more, or $2,000 more than what they spent this year. And the reason why we spent $9,600 was because we didn't have a mechanic 2 months out of that time.
I
And we had to
misspoke
send
on
out.
the Peterbilt. The Peterbilt has 15,448 miles on it.
So
It's 15,000?
we had
It's an
$8,500. That's
It's like 10 years
3,000
old.
more.
that's like nothing.
So how many miles a year?
It's like nothing.
Yeah, the 10-year-old truck.
That's like nothing.
$3,000, adding $3,000 to
Changing the
that
oil
is a
3
bit
times
much.
a year when you're only putting 2,000 miles on is the waste.
Do you wanna take 1,000 off?
Twice a year would be.
1,000 off?
Yeah,
Pushing it, probably.
Which line are we
Some
at?
of them.
You're on
Highway equipment.
maintenance and repair. It's currently at 11,500
That's on-
request.
Oh, okay, it's on the next page.
Does everyone agree with $1,000 off?
On the, dropping the,
Equipment
what, the
maintenance and repair.
11.5, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the 8.6? We had 96 because we sent stuff out to be done. We spent, what, $4,000 sending these trucks out?
But we also
service.
know that some of the repair that should have been done, like on the trackless, wasn't done.
Right. We need to leave a little wiggle room on there. Like 9.6 would be okay.
Or even just 10.
9.6.
Or 10 I would go with, that would be fine.
See, how much did it cost us to send outside?
We've already spent 1,000 on the trackless, and it's still broken down with the ignition, and it's 3 weeks out before we get the part.
Because it wasn't being properly maintained.
Well, if the ignition broke, it didn't necessarily mean maintenance. Those things just
But
take
all
a
the,
beating.
all the lines and everything else.
So now it's all redone.
Yeah.
Will we have to redo it next year?
No,
Then why did we
Certainly
budget?
hope not.
hope to help.
Every year, that trackless has broken something.
Yeah.
Every
But
single year.
It's not that it was just.
And I don't think it was just maintenance.
That's
I
a
think
regular
it's-
thing. I can't see this increasing 3 times a year, and I'm looking at how much did we spend on outside
Let's go to
equipment maintenance,
10,000 then.
along with tires, right? We used to send the tires,
They
How?
have 8 vehicles.
and now we're not doing that?
So, does that include tires?
That includes the tires, balancing?
No, that does not include tires, that's not equipment supplies. This is equipment maintenance and repair.
Okay.
Equipment supplies is
10?
below it. I could go to 10.
10, everyone?
What do you guys, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, 10.
Why did he increase building supplies?
For the
With-
door, fixing the, I believe that was the...
Oh, the garage
Replacing-
door?
Yeah, replacing one of the panels.
Where's building supplies?
Did we make a decision on the boot upgrade?
On the what?
Boot upgrade. He went up $500 on the uniforms.
Well, and that was not just, he
And then-
did have a note on that. He says the reason for the increase in this line is to accommodate the use of jeans that the guys would rather use as opposed to the blue Dickies due to the cold weather, plus the boots.
Long underwear? Hello?
Winter, longies.
I'm just passing along his rationale.
We had jeans along, about 3 or 4 years ago, we had the Carhartts that were delivered in the program.
Part of the
Right.
monthly, right?
Right. So there was,
I'm sorry.
She's gonna...
It's silly. It is silly. They've got pants. You know,
what?
let them wear pants. Let them wear long underwear.
Poke your eye out with that.
All right, come on. We just bought them sweatshirts and coats and stuff.
Digging for gold with it, let's put it that way.
You can go home now.
And miss this? No, this is the highlight of my day.
Did you want to change the uniform line?
No.
Let's go to radio.
2,500.
Okay, radio communications, so that,
No, what's the consensus? There's a difference in here in the uniforms. One says 2,500, I say keep it.
I'm all right with 3.
What'd you say, Joe?
3.
Why do I have to go ahead of you, Madam Vice Chair?
Because I could go either way.
I'll go 3 then.
We got an extra guy, I'll go with the 3.
All right.
We got all.
You don't
Radio.
have to decide.
in radio communications, the 2,500, he told me today was for 2 new mobile radios at $1,250 apiece.
Why?
What they cost.
Yes, they do cost
Traffic
that.
control.
He said that,
If you're working around blind curves,
Yeah,
hills.
yeah, I get that, but do we
Here's
need
the
to spend
deal.
$1,200?
You can buy stuff that doesn't have to cost that much. These guys drop one of those, that's the price you're out, $1,500. You can get a little communicator that the guys use to go back and forth, FM radio, you go 26 miles, under $100. There are those. They drop them on the ground, that's what happens.
I don't know the pricing on
So
them.
you're talking about for detail use?
Well, it could be, when you, no, but well,
This is public
when they're
works.
doing flagging
ditching whatever and you need to...
ditching, whatever, they, flat, you know.
Well, just to give you an idea, the radios that we currently have in the trucks are going to require about $1,000 worth of calibration that he has in his existing budget, that he's going to use OME to do that calibration work, or servicing, whatever servicing needs to be done.
Is there anybody else in this universe other than OME? Because it's sort of like a big monopoly.
This is calibrating the
Well,
antennas?
you want to drive Massachusetts?
What is it, MHQ down in
Yeah.
Massachusetts?
Yeah,
Is there anybody else other than OME?
There's another one on the seacoast.
this is the one that's close.
These things are working. These guys have been talking to each other back and forth on these radios with no problems. All of a sudden, we need another $2,500 worth of radios, or,
No, it's 1,500.
well,
1,000 to repair what we've got.
yeah, but we never been
Well,
spending that.
and one of the mobiles
Probably why we need to-
would be a way for your public works director to be able to communicate with Belknap County, with Tilton Northfield Fire, or with the chief.
He's got a cell phone.
He's got a truck. and he's
Well,
got
in the
something.
event of an outage where you've got, an ice storm or something.
Then he can get in his truck and use his truck radio.
If he's in a,
That only goes between the trucks.
yeah.
Between the trucks and that, garage.
Everyone used to try to get a hold of Dennis, and his cell phone was...
I never tried to get a hold of Dennis.
He didn't like
I went down there, if he wasn't there, I left him a message and he called me.
But this is,
I can attest, I tried to get in touch with them
in thinking about...
many times.
Well, if you think about that
Except
ice,
for me, I don't
think
know
about
why.
the ice storm, and you've got trucks on the road, and maybe he's at the emergency operations center, or he's trying to get there, or he's trying to direct his guys.
He take out his cell phone.
Well, and if cell service isn't working for some reason, then,
It's pretty much the same kind of frequency as a radio, because if the cell service is out, we're kind of
Do a little
screwed.
bit more investigative
Look,
research
The price
in
seems
it.
excessive to me, it just does.
well, this is...
$2,000, $1,000 a radio.
No,
You
it's
can have-
$1,500 for a radio, it's $1,000 to calibrate what they already have.
You can ask the chief, this is
Well,
what...
then that's completely out of control.
$1,250 per...
$1,500
That's a lot of
for
money.
2 radios.
Even so,
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of money.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
the PD's radios
Never bought
are
one.
more than that for the handhelds.
these guys, they set it on a
got
truck,
extra
they leave it on the
here.
roof, they drop it, and you're out there.
I would recommend then you talk to your public works director, but
Gotta get
did you want to
this
change that?
1,000.
I get it.
What are we gonna do with this line item?
1,000?
And then wait till next year, and maybe at the end of the year we could get it?
I'd rather wait and hear from the Public Works Director.
Are we gonna leave it here or not?
I'd leave it as it is till we hear
I
from
don't know how
him.
we've survived all these years, and that all of a sudden now we need all these extra things this 1 year, 2 months after a
I
new
kinda
guy
agree with
starts.
John on that one.
He just
I'm-
started 2 months ago, and we've got, everything's broken and everything's gone, but I can't, let's put it at 1,000.
Is it gonna cost $1,000 to calibrate what we've got?
I've never heard of such a thing. I work with our
I have no
radios
idea.
every
I have
day
no
for
idea.
35
Well,
years.
for the number of
All of a sudden.
radios we have, the service, he did mention today, I mean, I didn't see a quote, I don't know if he's got a firm estimate, but the administrative assistant and I were just very briefly, I was just trying to get a feel from him, is there anything he wanted to change? And he said, yes, this was the line, and that he was planning on spending the $1,000 by the end of this year on service for the existing...
By the end of this year?
This year, can we do it
His
with this year's money?
2016 His 2016
Then put
$1,000.
$1,000 in it.
Then put $1,000, because he hasn't
We
spent
can
that yet.
spend it
The
out of
antennas will be done, and we don't
2016
need
money.
anything for the
Yeah,
next year.
that means it,
Why can't we get the radios out of 2016 money?
We might be able to.
Why do we need the radios?
I don't know, but I'm with John
Let's go
now.
with 1,000.
Thank you, that was, yeah. What do you guys think?
1,000?
Pick a number.
1,000.
Well, we got 3,000s down there, they don't need us.
Whatever happened to try to save some money?
momentarily, because you apparently wouldn't have any.
All right, anything else in highways?
Yeah, why are we not funding storm drains? I didn't quite understand that. We're no longer going to do storm drains, or is he going to subcontract that out?
No, storm
What's-
drains are now into
Road materials.
road
and
materials
subcontract.
and subcontract.
Well, that's what I don't like, road materials and subcontractors. Why did we move that out of us doing storm drains? And our
because
guys have
repairs.
repaired storm drains, I've seen them. I can tell you two right now, they did the one at the end of Silver Lake Road, which they shouldn't have done because that's state.
He moved it to buildings, grounds, maintenance,
I thought I just heard that he moved it to subcontractors.
and building, grounds, maintenance. He moved it to both lines.
Road materials and subcontractors.
I'm sorry, road materials and subcontractors. Those are the two places he moved it to.
He better not be hiring subcontractors all of a sudden to fix storm drains. Okay.
Yeah, because you have a 1,500 increase there, and then he went down on the subcontractors from last year's 27,000.
And keep in mind, the lagoon
Right, that,
was part of that 27,000.
so he went up 1,500 on the subcontractors and 1,500 on the road material. And that's the 3,000 from the storm drains. And that's what he explained to us anyway.
Well,
Right.
$9,500, the subcontractors is down over last year, so even if he added,
It isn't really, because in the subcontractors was the guy that cut down all the trees.
yes.
Look at the, look at,
Well, we don't
yeah,
know
look at
what
15.
27,000.
So can we get more of an itemized of that line? That's a pretty big line.
The subcontractor?
The subcontractor. Like, where-
All right,
I should show you what we used to get from
PD.
highway and PD. I'll pull it out. Not tonight.
I'm doing this.
something wrong with this picture when your officers are making more money than you are, chief.
So are we done with the,
Yeah, because we already went over sanitation, and it is what it is right now. All right. And we went over the chief's thing already.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
I had,
changes.
yeah, we went from 13.5 on vehicle maintenance to 10.5, right?
Right.
And then we were talking about investigation expense and non-public for some reason.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, so can you tell me what you already did? Where is it?
Vehicle maintenance,
Vehicle maintenance, I wrote 10.5, and I wouldn't have written it that unless somebody gave me the number, because I have no explanation of why it's there.
I didn't,
Vehicle me.
I have my last, this is
Well,
the
my
one
number
that,
is-
my working one that I had, that we worked on.
That's what this one is.
I don't have anything
I
next to it.
I would have noted if you all had voted on
Okay, maybe I was crazy.
I don't have anything there.
I have a question on
Legal expense, we went down. I know that.
weapons expense.
Yeah, that was the 6,000.
I have a question on that. So,
Back to your vehicle maintenance.
Yeah, we
Shouldn't
didn't,
that go down since we're getting a tire changing machine?
and we're doing our own in-house inspections.
see, here's the conversation. I remember this conversation.
Wow.
I don't know how many vehicles, and this is what I said the last time we brought it up, were sent out to, like, AutoServe or Irwin's to have things done to them that could have been done in-house and weren't.
Well, we had a different circumstance, too. because we
Exactly.
didn't- It's kind of hard to
So it's, you know,
say,
Can we get a printout what was paid to,
I'll do it.
to,
Print out that line for you for,
because we sent stuff up to,
Yes, we did.
we sent it, I'm getting,
we sent us
to
Bunch of stuff
Northeast
to
Tire.
auto-serve, yep.
Northeast Tire.
Yep, auto-serve, bunch of,
They do all the tires, a lot of the tires.
so weapons expense, and thank you, Chief, this was very helpful. So I can see the reasoning for the training and that ammunition, kind of, sort of. I don't think we've ever done that before, though. We've never bought this much ammunition before. So all of a sudden now, we're going to have them, every single one of them qualifying with rifle and handguns?
That's,
I mean, they actually, they did, I think, even when I got here, only with stockpile ammo. And now with, just the change in expectation in our training, the courts have said they expect us to do shooting, low light shooting, and it's all the result of what was perceived or considered, failures in training in police department shootings around the country. So now they want us, they say just simply hitting paper once or twice a year is not enough, and it's actually come from the courts. And so they're telling firearms instructors, you're not having officers shoot on the move, shoot in low light conditions, shoot under stress, you're wrong, and we as the Supreme Court are saying you're wrong. So I think firearms instructors, if they're not putting their people through those paces with that skill-building ammo, then they're leaving themselves out to dry.
Okay, I can see that, but my real question is the duty ammo. So, and I'm very grateful that we really don't have officers that have to shoot their weapons. I think they use their taser more often. In fact, I can't think of an occasion that an officer's had to shoot their gun.
Since I've been here, I haven't
So-
heard about it, sir.
So,
I think we'd have heard about that.
the amount of cases we're buying for duty ammunition, and we don't shoot it, don't we have any leftovers? I mean, and I understand this is Hollow Point, it's, almost twice as much, it's much more expensive. And you're using good Hollow Point, I recognize that, you're not gonna,
It's definitely gonna be more. They recommend that we change it out once a year, and everywhere I worked, we shot up our ammo once a year, and then continuously do stuff. The right way to do it is budget that you can change out their duty ammo once a year. So Chris's numbers, when he did that, just reflect once a year officers are getting new ammunition for their magazines and their guns.
I mean, you're getting 1,800 rounds for 18 rifles that we never shoot?
Yeah, it's training too. I mean, they have to shoot.
That's not training, this is duty ammo, this is duty rifle. The training ammo is on this page. It says duty rifle, 100 rounds times 18 round rifles is 1,800 rounds, 5 cases. That's for duty.
So they each get issued 3 magazines.
Practice is down here.
Yeah, 3 magazines, plus in the vests that are in the trunks are 2 magazines on each vest. So Chris, when he did those numbers, is for replacing ammunition, and the 3 magazines are issued and the 2 on the vest. Because like the handgun ammo, the right way to do it is replace it once a year.
I still don't understand why we're gonna get 1,800 rounds.
100 per rifle.
We don't shoot it.
The
still
one
have to
time
change
we
that.
need that ammunition, though.
you want it to be.
Once a year.
By the time we need 1,800 rounds, and this is just the rifles, we better be calling out the National Guard or the SWAT teams.
One of the,
1,320 rounds?
one of
Seems
the,
excessive.
one of the things, Catherine, when Chris came in and gave us the presentation, that you weren't here,
I talked to Chris.
I know, but one of the things that you missed out on was that in the past couple, was it 2 or 3 years, that at the end of the year, they were buying half of the ammunition and then putting in the budget $2,000 or $3,000 for ammunition, and that really gave a false sense of the reality of how much ammunition is costing. We asked them to put in the reality
they've
of what
never-
it's cost for
I talked to Chris
ammunition.
about that, and according to Chris, they've never, this qualifying, we've never really done this completely, as we should have. And I agree with you with that. We've never really accomplished this, and I'm glad you are. But my problem is the duty ammunition. We just I mean, in my 16 years, there's no incident of an officer shooting a gun, thank God. So, buying this, knowing that at the end of the year, we're just going to shoot it off, it's hollow point. You could practice with it, but it's not going to be the same as a full metal jacket, which is the other thing that's kind of,
So how long does it take to get ammunition? So if you went through,
not long.
if you went through 6 months, if you decrease the amount of ammunition that you purchased at the beginning of the year, and then, let's say in July, you know, took a visit back to your inventory to see where you were with training and so on, and then you thought, at that point,
We look at the years we were waiting a year for it. I think it's down now about 6 months, but it was during the height of Afghanistan, and it was bad because the ammo companies would get sending it all to the military, and we just couldn't get it. So we would order ammo next year now and get it a year later. And that was really causing two problems. One, waiting for the ammo, and two, they wouldn't bill us until it arrived. So we're getting these bills a year after we ordered it. So it's a nightmare for all the people with that. But it's gotten better.
Question. I heard somebody say we are buying 100 duty rounds for every rifle.
100 rounds, we have 18 rifles, yes.
Now, that's my question. Why do we have 18 rifles? Under what circumstance would we use 18 rifles all at once?
Terrorism.
Well, they're issued to each officer just like their handguns, so it's zeroed to the officer, they have their sights on it. And that's, it's safer, and more reliable, because it's better carrier than their rifles. And so each officer is issued a rifle just like a handgun. They take care of it, they clean it.
We did that.
Zero to them. We actually got those, we didn't have to buy a lot of those, we got them through the military, so. And so, it's just the right way to do it.
Peter?
So, my uncle hunts up in Saskatchewan, sighted in his rifle, went deer hunting, used a different brand. He was quite a bit off on the sight, so there's no difference between hollow and, you practice? Rifles for accuracy?
Yeah, well, but the distance is we're shooting, no.
Okay.
So if you're shooting.
Yeah, if you're long,
20
okay.
yards, yeah, they're.
But when you go into a rifle, generally, now you're going longer distance.
And they zero the rifles at 25 yards. The
Okay.
handgun courses don't go past that, but if you get out distance, a couple hundred yards, definitely.
So what gets interesting is if you reach that scenario, do they know how to adjust the gun to compensate?
They do, yeah, it's part of the training.
Okay.
I just think the duty rounds is excessive, knowing that, you know, you're talking about your combination, you've got over 3,000 rounds between the rifles, the handguns, mags. That's a lot.
I mean,
For duty ammo.
the mags that we carry 16 rounds apiece in them.
Yeah, 2 mags each, yep.
So the-
9 to 34 rounds,
I have 3 on me right now.
1,000, so, yeah, you've got over 1, 2.
How much have we been buying per rifle? Duty rounds.
Like I said, each officer gets 3 magazines, and then we keep 2 in the trunk of each car on the vest.
So we've been buying 1,800 rounds of ammunition now.
I don't know how we could have.
Well, if we could,
We budgeted $2,300,
But we bought some in the year before,
yeah,
that's what I was saying.
so
and then-
$3,500, I
Right.
mean,
We buy some in the year before.
but regardless
at
of
the
what
end the
we've
year,
bought before,
which
for guns that we've never shot except to practice in, and we've got the practice ammunition, why are we buying so much duty ammunition just to shoot it off at the end of the year? Unless you're expecting some kind of assault.
Yeah, they tell the firearms instructors, don't let your people carry old ammo, don't let them carry ammo that's 5 years old because you're.
Yeah, but this time was only a year old.
And they should be out there shooting 3 times in a year.
But that's, okay, but this is, I'm talking duty. I'm not talking practice, training.
duty.
I'm just talking duty.
That we change them once a year.
But this duty, this is not the training ammo. This is the training ammo. Correct, you got 5, 6, 7, 8, you got enough. But I'm just saying that for the duty ammo, it just seems excessive, extremely excessive.
How expensive is it for 100 rounds of,
They're buying 1,000 rounds per case. They're hollow points.
well, it's 100 rounds per gun,
Yeah.
and what's that running?
The hollow points are $332 a case
170
for the 9 millimeters,
for practice ammo,
How,
duty ammo,
$235 for practice.
how much does the duty ammo cost for like 100 rounds?
It's by 1,000
It's
rounds.
1,000 rounds.
Well, how much-
about
I can
$300.
Divide that by 10, and that would be 100 rounds.
yeah, if you were to go into.
Does anybody know what the number is offhand? What it
Yeah,
is
it's
for
right there.
Teacher.
the duty?
But you did stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
The Danish side.
Duty ammunition, 9 millimeter. This is for the rifles?
Yeah, you'll see 9 millimeter.
9 millimeter. How much is a case?
So the bottom line is, do you want to cut that, or do you
1,332.
want to leave it alone?
I'm gonna leave it alone. Leave it alone. In a firefight, 100 rounds won't
It's only-
last you hot.
I think it's an extreme waste of money. Not the practice ammo, but to buy that many duty
Each shift,
rounds.
Do we just swap off the rifle clip? Okay, here you go.
You got 18, what, you've got 10 patrolmen, 10, 11, 12, you've got, I forgot, I haven't got the list in front of me.
Well, every police officer.
Do they really need,
Everybody.
okay. So,
They all have to qualify. Captain.
this isn't qualifying, this is duty. This is just in case they gotta shoot a criminal.
But they have to change it out once a year, he's saying. That's what
Okay.
you're saying.
So this is a year's worth of ammo. We're gonna shoot somebody added up, 1,626 rounds plus another 1,800 rounds for the rifle. We're gonna shoot that in 1 year, this is duty. Are we expecting some kind of terrorist attack?
Well, we may not be shooting all of those, but one individual might have to shoot, let's say, 100 rounds, but we don't know which guy.
No,
rounds do you
that's
carry
not, I'm
right
talking
now?
duty, I'm not talking
Duty.
practice.
I am talking about duty, that's,
Then why would an officer be shooting duty unless he's shooting a criminal?
exactly.
One in the
So that's
chamber.
48, right?
He's gonna shoot 100 bullets into a criminal?
Let's say some kind of
49
shoot off.
rounds.
You don't know which
So we
guy
rounded
is going to
off
be the
50
one
for
that
each
has to shoot
officer
the most
that's
bullets. So
And
you
I guess they could grab some of the ammo, the practice
That's
ammo, and oh my God, they're gonna have to
17,
use full metal
20,
jackets
21,
instead of
right?
hollow points.
I'm
I'm sorry. In 16 years, I don't think they need 2,500 rounds of duty. Just me. I guess I'm alone in this, so move along, but I just think it's an extreme waste of money.
He's right now, he has 49 rounds on him that have to be changed out once a year. So let's just round it off for the sake of rounding it to 50. So 50 times, how many police officers do we have, including everybody over there? 19?
37?
19
Yeah.
Make it 20. It's easier to figure.
times 20. So that's 1,000 right there, 1,000 rounds that have to be
Duty.
duty.
Duty plus the vest and the trunk,
Plus the vest in the trunk, there's 2 rounds each, right? So that's
2 rifles.
2 rifle duty, so that's 48 each.
Gotta have 1,800
How
rounds for
many-
those rifles.
So that's 18 times 50?
Heaven forbid.
Wait, hang on a minute.
Cowboys and
The ones in
Indians.
the trunk are only for each car, so it's not 18.
So that's-
It's not one per rifle.
So rounding it off by 1, that's 1,900. Replacing it every year, how many is there right now, marked down?
Just leave those over there.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, let's just say 3,500. Oh, I'm not including that 540 rounds either.
This is just duty.
This is just duty. Why don't you just readdress it, look at it with whoever's going to be your guy now, and maybe they'll have a different vision, and
Because if you're just
We'll look at it next
replacing
week.
duty, then you're looking at the numbers. Just replacing it, you're looking at about 1,900 to 2,000, and they have 3,500 in there.
plus.
Can you, yep, take a look at it and get back to us? Okay, let's just move on.
Going back to vehicle maintenance, you asked what comprises the 12,768. There's a lot of small item purchases, but the largest vendors are AutoServe, 4588, and that includes their OE Parts Division, AutoServe, and GNS. Then there's Northeast Tire, which is 2721, Snell's for 1191, and Hanser for 731. So those four
Snell's
vendors
is
account for
parts.
$9,231.
Well, we won't have Northeast Tire now.
Well,
Have to buy
you gotta buy
tires.
tires.
You gotta get your tires somewhere.
And you have to get alignments.
Your,
They've been doing some alignments at
And they have to buy
Snell's
tires for the
parts.
big
Who was the
trucks.
fourth one?
Hanser.
Get them put on.
Well, this is just the
Oh.
EV line.
Oh, yeah, all right, never mind.
That's Kismet.
So maybe we could cut that down to 10? Seems pretty easy.
Which line are we on?
I don't want to go
Vehicle
too much.
maintenance.
Okay.
Tire machine got 1,000. But like
Inspections, too.
inspections,
They're gonna do inspection. Yeah, he's going next week.
Yeah.
You have to remember, it's a line, it's an item that you cannot not fund. So if we cut it down and it goes over it, we'll have to find it somewhere.
Which it does lots of times, apparently. Hasn't this year so far, but it has every other year.
Well, remember the
I
first,
think
that
part
first
of it
one is
was-
not a
was,
year, that's an
Some of
estimate.
those Crown Vics were, and what's left of them, those things are just, they're expensive they aren't real well, they don't hold together real good after a while. You've driven one, haven't you?
Well,
The Crown Vics, and as they're kind of
no, ours is
phasing
making a
out,
really cool noise.
and they're not being frontline cars.
Really cool. Makes you want to step on the gas. Woo! It's very cool. I haven't told anybody about it until now, but it's a cool noise.
So what did they do? What do you want, board?
I could go either way. I think it's a test.
What's the amount from the vendors again? What do you got?
AutoServe and AutoServe companies, which are OE Parts, AutoServe, and GNS, are $4,588. Northeast Tire is $2,721. Snell's is $1,191. And Hanser Auto Body is $731.
Well, we're still going to get the Snells. We're still going to get a lot of OEM parts because you can't, you have to buy OEM parts for a lot of those things. So the Snell is $1191, we're not going to get away from that. 2721 was for what? The body? Or-
No, that's Northeast Tire, 2721.
So I'd say we'd probably cut that, and that's where a lot of tires, probably just be cutting maybe about $800-900 off of it, tops. And 4588, that was for OEM parts and for repairs?
The 4588 is all AutoServe companies. So they have different companies, they have a parts division.
Your inspections would be under that.
Yeah.
And any repairs we brought to them?
Yeah.
Maybe 1,200 off or something, it would be safe, but
Yeah, don't.
this first year might be a little tough to, I was thinking, take $3,000 off it, but it's a lot of OEM parts, expensive. Doesn't matter who does it.
Take
So-
1,000 off.
Anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000, I'm thinking, anyway.
I'll go 1,000. Make it 12,500.
Yes.
Sure.
I want to know why we keep budgeting $600 for, even $500 for an intoximeter that we never spend.
Usually do that at the end of the year. I'm not
You can tell, look at the years prior to that, chief.
sure why, that's not, yeah, I think it may have came out of equipment maintenance, I think it's a line assignment issue.
When we asked them last year, it was the supplies, and they never know how many they're going to use in a year. So how many DWIs do you get? And then how many supplies do you have to buy?
Well, they've never gone over $200.
So-
They went over to 203 in 2014.
We don't have 2014 on this.
Well, I got it, I'm looking at it.
That's the 3-year average.
13
Not according to
15.
this.
This is 3-year average, 13 to 15. We have 2,000,
I'm looking at
He's
this.
looking at the computer.
oh,
You get the,
I've got every year down here.
so I,
$600. Today, this year, we put it down to 5. But this year, we spent $228. That's the most
I like
we've
the
ever
fact we're
spent.
looking at two different documents. That blows my skirt up.
Okay. So what, do you want to put it down?
No,
I don't want to
I don't.
appropriate money we don't need.
400?
I think it's a guess. I think it's,
Well, let's get it as accurate as possible. We got a lot of data, and the data,
400.
400.
Got 3, 4, that.
Immunizations. We haven't spent any money on immunizations. Are we going to spend that this year?
And actually, that's kind of an old title for everybody, someone needs a psych exam that includes if I have to,
don't you usually do that this month?
Yep.
Down there?
or a physical, or
I thought everybody got a flu shot or something.
Yeah, but I don't see any expense listed.
Well, it's not the end of the year yet.
immunization for hepatitis, hep C or something.
All right. You ready
Outside agencies?
for my motions?
I thought you wanted to do outside agencies.
I am.
Oh.
I was going to do culture and recreation. Go ahead. Make a motion, we accept the park maintenance island for $1,500, the Hall Memorial Library for $127,208, Old Home Day for $3,000, and the Memorial Day for $100.
Did you do the park commission?
No, because they didn't, we don't, we need clarification on the thing.
He just sent it, as a matter of fact.
Well, I don't have it, so I didn't, that's why I didn't do it. All right, well, let's do these while we're waiting.
He wrote,
A second, please.
Second.
All those in favor?
I have some discussion on this. Old Home Day, they have a balance of, I believe, was it 9,000?
What?
$7,000 or
No.
$9,000 left over from last year that's carried over.
There's no way
Traditionally,
we've
we're
got
supposed to be.
$9,000.
Yes, it is.
Well, I haven't seen the figures, but I would be stunned.
I'm going to pull it up right now.
Okay.
Just had a meeting last night. And the idea was to provide the $3,000 to give them seed money so they could get going at the beginning of the year.
The
However,
501c3, they're not supposed to have $9,000.
exactly. So they should be using, if they already have this money in there, they shouldn't be coming to us for additional seed money for the upcoming year. And we've had this before, and it was because of leftover from fireworks. It was been kicking around the kitty.
That was
Old
some
Home Day.
years ago, it rained us out.
I'm pulling it up for you, Joe. Hold on, give me a second. Old Home Day, 2016 ending balance, $7,741.64 was left over from last year.
That
In
seems,
previous years,
way
it's
high.
always been like 1,200.
So why are we,
$1,000.
why are they, did they have an explanation last night as to why
I
they
didn't
were?
ask them last night.
There is, I mentioned it to her, I asked her, they were talking about they need a trailer. the trailer is getting pretty beat up.
Actually, the trailer's rotting. The
But that
box
wasn't in the budget for the next year. She didn't put buying a new trailer in there.
Was not asked.
But we could get by without the trailer. I mean, the trailer is not in good shape, but we're not
That's
going
why
anywhere
I'm
with it.
saying, I want to go
When Deb
back.
Shepherd came before the Budget Committee, she came before the Budget Committee and the whole conversation lasted about 5 minutes. And then after, when the Budget Committee was voting on different things, then the question came up about the $7,000 in the
It's not
kitty
a
and so on
question,
and so
it's a
forth.
balance.
Well, that's when it came up, and that, it should have come up when Deb Shepherd was here and asked why and how, whatever.
But whether it came up or
When
not, the fact is
they
they
asked
show this
them-
balance.
During Deb Shepherd, when Deb Shepherd was here, they asked about expenses and unusual expenses, and what they do, the trailer that they housed all of their refrigeration and everything for all of the foodstuffs, when when the highway was moving it, it got broken. That trailer it fell apart, it got broken. So now they have no trailer, and that was the most that they said anything. That $7,000 or whatever, everything there is not confirmed.
That's,
We said we would go,
But if you look at their revenues,
they
the 7,000,
would come out with a balance.
yeah, there's
That, they'd walk into it with
all right, for the sake of discussion, because it's 9 o'clock at night, I will amend my motion to exclude one of the finest community days that we have in Tilton, the Old Home Day, for the sake of discussion. And I will keep the Park Maintenance Island, Hall Memorial, and Memorial Day. You amend your second?
sure.
All right, so, all in favor?
Sure.
Okay.
No.
Opposed? No. That's excluded.
I understand that, but I have problems with the library.
Let's do these.
Okay. All right, I make a motion that we, for the Park Cemetery for $5,000, Lakes Region Planning for $3,464, Genesis Health for $3,000, YAP, which is a difference in what you have on your paper, for $44,411, which is what they changed at the Budget Committee. Child and Family Services for $3,000. Community Action for $24,300.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Could you please repeat the assistance again?
$44,411. They decreased it at the Budget Committee. Make a motion to accept $11,883 for Franklin Visiting
Why
Nurse.
did you skip over community action? Because the last
Because we
time,
already voted it.
no, we just had a consensus that we'd put it to 3,000. We didn't vote. I don't think we voted.
There's lots of these lines we're not voting on.
Okay. Make a motion, we accept Community Action Transit for $3,000, Franklin Visiting Nurses for $11,883, for Animal Control $5,500, New Beginnings for $1,530, Association for the Blind $1,500, CASA $500, Red Cross $0. And the summer concert, $2,000.
Second.
Did you do cemetery?
Yep.
Yes. So you did everything except for the funds, is that?
Yeah, so far. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
No.
All opposed? What, you don't oppose to now?
Community Transit, and then Association for the Blind, and CASA.
Who level funded?
I understand that.
All right. Who's gonna make a motion for Pines Community Center?
I'll make a motion to fund the Pines Community Center line, $64,750.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion?
We do not get that equivalent in services from them. And that's what we do when we give money to these outside agencies. We're buying services. We do not get $64,750 worth of services. Because if you look at the number of people that go there, the programs they have, and you compare it to all the other community agencies for the cost of those programs, you'll see that we could send our people to other community programs and pay half of what we're paying for the Pines to provide those same services. That's my spiel.
We don't have anything else in place that is going to equal to what they're doing right now for the taxpayers in the town of Tilton. We don't. And until we do, the townspeople, I think, have spoken.
The townspeople haven't spoken. The people that
Every year they come to
the
town
people
meetings.
that the Pines community people bring in there to speak for the Pines, and it's the same people every year.
And they happen to be
Speak.
residents of the town of Tilton.
That's right.
And democracy has it that the townspeople have spoken.
But that's not what we're discussing here. That we're discussing is, are we getting $64,750 worth of services? That's what you're buying.
I'm getting $127,000 out of the library.
The library is different. It's not an outside agency. The library was built,
Town thing?
yep, it was built for the towns of Tilton and Northfield. It's a different entity altogether.
That's still $127,000 without any discussion at all.
It's not an outside agency.
Okay.
Neither is Park Cemetery.
We discussed the hell out of that.
Neither is Park Cemetery. But that's just me.
Well,
I like to pay for what I'm getting, not
is there a
get ripped
different
off.
amount that you would think was, is there a suggested amount?
Half.
Last year, we went down to 57,000. Budget committee went to 64, which is what they wanted, which is what they asked for. And then it was voted on at town meeting for 64. No, I think that I have my qualms about what is offered over there for the benefits of the town of Tilton taxpayers. However, until we see that the taxpayers are no longer happy with it, then I don't think that we have that much of a...
I think the law is very clear. The law is very clear. We're not supposed to be using taxpayers' monies to subsidize an outside agency. We're supposed to be buying services. So that's the question you ask yourself. That's in the second part of the New Hampshire State Constitution. I believe it's Article 6.
Are they nonprofit organizations?
Might be Article 5. They're a nonprofit. They are not associated with town. They're completely a separate entity.
And we give to a lot of nonprofit organizations.
We
on
buy
that.
services from those
The
agencies.
Red Cross?
We don't give them money, we buy services.
And I think that
So
that...
$500 that we buy services from Red Cross, we've gotten.
And I think that that's a valid argument, Catherine.
It's not an argument, it's the
And
law.
And I actually agree with you on that. However, I think that that's more suited for town meeting.
We're preparing our default budget.
Yep.
So, for me, just for me, I will always vote the same way. I will not spend taxpayers' dollars to subsidize an outside agency. I will never agree to it, ever. The law does not allow it. So, you guys do what you want, but
I'm going to call a question. All those in favor of putting in $64,750 in the budget for Tilton Northfield Recreation Council?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
nay, please let the record show. Absolutely not. Before we vote on the bottom line, I had been asked by one of the supervisors to look at their wages, and I brought this up the last time, to see if they're in line with what other communities are paying. And even though this is 2014, and these are communities with the same population, although some of them are smaller than us.
When you mean supervisors, I mean...
The supervisors of the checklist?
Okay, yeah.
It looks like they're pretty close to the higher amounts that communities are paying. I mean, some of them are paying much less than this, like Gorham pays $80 per election, and they're getting, well, for example, town meeting, $100, town election was $195. The primary was $195, so they're doing all right there. If you look at Brentwood, they're paying $200 per election and $200 per meeting. Barnstead pays $225. Auburn pays them a flat $1,500, regardless of what they do, I guess. A lot of them pay by the hour, so I guess what I'm saying to you is, from what I can see, unless we want to be the highest paid supervisors on the block, they're doing all right.
What do we pay per?
It's $50 an hour, isn't it?
Now, $50 per session. Yeah, I think they're here a couple hours, but if you count their prep time and you know what I mean? But it's $50 a session.
Like that.
I think they're doing all right.
We still have parks,
It's not a job.
right?
They do a great service.
Thank you for checking into that.
Welcome.
I don't have a
Well,
updated...
he said that, Tim, I think this is cleaned up, but he didn't attach the attachment. So, and I emailed him right back and said, Bob, I need the attachment. And he hasn't written back, and that was when I told you I got it earlier, so.
So we're supposed to have our budgets, department head budgets, no, October, November, and here it is December, and we don't.
So just flatline it. I don't know what the budget was, I wasn't there, but just flatline it.
There's $12,200 of like landscaping type stuff, which some of that is tilled ground, some of that is squares. I'm sure some of that is fertilizing, that sort of thing. Outside of that, it's hard to tell. I think it looked as though the one that he intended to make his 2017 was $43,156, and that's what I put in.
I sent you all the information on getting the pesticide applicator license. You only have to pay for the exam.
There's a big question as to whether or not highways taking over the mowing, and are we shifting that and you're doing less on landscaping, or are you contracting everything out to landscaping and still spending $12,000 on landscaping? That was brought up again last night at budget.
I've had a couple of conversations with the Public Works Director. He's not anxious to take on Riverfront Park. They do the ball field. They do Buffalo. But he's not anxious to take on the other parks. Maybe, who knows? Maybe by summer he'll change his mind. I don't know. But the conversations, and I've had more than one, he has indicated he's just not interested. And it's not just the mowing. There's so much more to Riverfront Park. There's weeding and trimming and, it's just not mowing lawns. So, he doesn't want to be held
Right.
to a schedule for the lawn mowing. He wants to be able to mow it when he can get to it. But you can't do that. That's the Showplace Park. You can't, have 10 days of nice, good, lush growth and then all of a sudden go in and mow it. And it's not healthy for the lawn.
Right.
Who also is maintaining the building itself, the pavilion?
That's mostly Paul Rushlow.
What Paul does that?
That's what Paul does, because the other is just a landscaper.
The other thing, just weeding Riverfront Park, is he said that it's going to be probably in excess of 2 days.
Oh, it's more than that.
So, you're tying up a guy, and he really wanted to get a lot more of the sidewalk trims, the roads, the brush, a lot of that hasn't been done 10, 15 years. And I think that's a little bit more reasonable to do, so,
Well, if I may, I think it's important to really identify and understand the scope of the work, because your weeding might be different from your weeding, your mowing might be different.
My weeding is the weeding in Riverfront Park. I've been the person for 5 years now that's gone there with the landscaper. I've gone there with the landscapers guys and weeded.
I guess.
So I know
Not
very,
happy with them either, right?
it isn't a matter of happy with them. I like the current landscaper. I think he's very affable, and I think he tries to do a good job, but they're not weeders. You cannot go through a flower bed and take the weeds and rip off the tops without digging up the roots, because then you have, 3-4 times as many weeds that come up. The type of weeds that are infesting the slope around the pavilion is white clover, which has now formed a very dense mat. We have Japanese knotweed growing in that embankment. We have horsetail, which sends a huge underground mire of roots. So it isn't whether I'm happy with anybody or not. What I see is the weeding isn't getting done, and the plants that have been planted there are being overtaken by weeds.
Well, what I was, before all that, what I was really trying to get at was that different people have different definitions of certain things, and that to really understand and to have a substantive conversation with the Public Works Director so that at some point in time they could do it, because I think most taxpayers would expect that, we would have a sufficient organization to be able to handle our all of our facilities and grounds. But we have to understand what the scope is. So I think, maybe while he's, evaluating things and things like that between the Parks Commission and Public Works, that there can be better dialogue. And
I have offered, when things die down, we're after the Christmas parade, when we're not in the middle of a blizzard, that I'd be very happy to walk through the park with him. If we can do it before snow cover, I'd be very happy to walk through there, show him what's involved. I have the bid package we use for the landscapers that I've offered to give him. I told him if we miss it in the winter, then first thing in the spring, I'd be more than happy to walk through with him and show him what is needed. I mean, one of the other things that we have not done and neglected is the car top boat takeout area. That's never been maintained. All the stones and stuff that was put there to protect it is now in the river. So, but there's a lot more there. Paul Rushlow does a lot. He does more than what he was actually hired to do. We have beavers that have taken down trees and In fact, I think Peter went in there and volunteered, and they put up hardware cloth around the trees to protect them from the beavers. There's just so much more than mowing lawns in Riverfront Park. So much more. And I think that's what scares them.
What about the Civil War monument?
Well, the Civil War monument is problematic as well because it has some flower beds. There's, muggo pine that has to be trimmed. Also around the monument itself that has to be trimmed. So unless it's just lawn mowing, I think he's just not ready to take it on. But Paul Rush, though, does that, which is far less expensive than the commercial landscapers, although I shouldn't say that because he is a commercial landscaper and has been for years. But I think he does that as part of a kind of a volunteerism for the park. From what I understand, he's not going to increase his rates for 2017.
So I'll make a motion that we put in $39,156 to the Parks Commission budget.
Did you get that?
4156. 40,156.
Why?
That's the number that's in there.
No,
It's saying
this is the
39.
number right here that it's 39.
Well, where there was a discrepancy, I thought it was better to go with the 40,156. Make it anything.
If we have more information, we can amend it at the Budget Committee.
Yeah, for the sake of allowing them to get into get this information to the Budget Committee as quickly as possible, because we're going to go before them on the 14th. Really, what's the board want? You want me to amend it to 40,000, or you want to keep it at 39?
What's the 39 from? Where you
Well,
getting that from?
on the page right there that you have,
Yeah,
no.
the 39
On
from
this one,
16?
right here. See, on this one right here, it says proposed
Oh, that one, yeah.
39, the grand total 39,156, Parks budget draft.
But the one we received tonight is department request 40,156.
That's because Tim put it in.
Well, and I put them all
Because
in
that's
because that's what I get
Because,
from-
look at, on this one, it says 2014, proposed 2015, and then that's the 4156, and that's where we was going to get clarification. Did he just not number those right? And then on the back, it's 39,156, so that's the number I went with.
But
I
there's
don't-
no year on this, is there? Parks budget draft?
39,156 or 39,756?
No, 39,156.
156. Why don't you just go with 40,000?
Wow, I'll amend it to 40,000.
Second, let's vote on it, I want to go home.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we changed
I'm opposed
opposed.
strongly,
Let the record show the Jays are opposed.
and I'm disappointed to get a chance to comment on that either.
Well, you didn't even, I asked.
It went
We've
from the
just
second right
spent
through. I'm just saying.
45
Just
minutes
saying.
on the damn thing.
Too many, but
It was not 45 minutes.
That's an affront to me, and I don't really appreciate that.
4156.
I try to give everyone more than ample time to speak up, and I never shut,
He doesn't feel like he got his chance.
well, I really,
It is what it is.
I know. And I really apologize to that, because if you had
It's-
made an appropriate hey, Pat,
Why, I
you
didn't
would have
know
gotten
it
your
could
chance to
jump right-
speak on that.
Well, as you said, it's going to go to the Budget Committee, and we got a lot of stuff to iron out, so there's no
Right.
hard feelings over it, so I
Yeah,
figured
remember,
we'd
ours is,
just be
ours is,
beating our heads against the
ours
wall
is the
here.
default budget, so if you guys screw up,
I think that it should go with the budget.
so don't screw up.
It
Don't
should
miss any dates.
This one.
No public hearings, you did
should-
last year.
go to the budget committee without the notes and without the, no.
None of the ABC that are in there? Okay.
without the notes and without the wages. That, and that
They'll
health
be-
insurance,
Did you want to vote on the bottom line?
The chief wants something?
I was just saying, I went through all the memo and his numbers were by 22, I think by 19, below $710. Let's get down to 5710. There's some stuff that he doesn't have in there, but I'm looking at the number of cases and it is,
You have until next Thursday if you want to look at it harder,
yeah.
but that's a good start. I figured if you looked at, well, I kind of figured if you looked at it, you'd see what I was seeing.
5710, that's $700.
720.
720.
Yeah, because there's some stuff that isn't in there, like Dave and I just went to fire on the school. There's no instructor schools in there, we didn't build that in there.
So that's why you should look at it again until it's Thursday.
Yeah, I may get schooling somewhere in there more for that.
Okay. Oh, for any academy or anything?
Yeah, he
Got
didn't
it.
put that stuff in there, so if I take too much out, I'm not gonna.
I got it. All right, because we have to supply the Bulletsburg Academy.
We shouldn't have
Okay, do
anybody
you
in
have
the
to-
academy.
Yes, so,
Our research.
Go ahead.
Instructor research.
well, if you add up the selectmen approved column
Yep.
with a blank in town clerk tax collector.
Yep.
Okay. The total is $5,039,190.
So I make a motion to approve our bottom line budget for $5,039,190.
Jesus.
That's with the, leaving the,
I know,
a
but
blank
that's
with the
hideous.
town clerk tax collector's wages, and what percent
It will never
would that be?
cheaper.
Her raise increase was 7%, wasn't
Okay.
it? Oh,
It'll
the
be on
budget.
your
The
report.
budget will never be cheaper than it is.
What, do I hear a
Oh, and the
second?
warrant articles.
Second.
Warrant articles.
Although, what? Discussion?
I'm all set.
All those in favor?
Sure.
So, are we all set for sending that tomorrow to Johanna to get that out into the,
I'll send it to her.
Make sure it says draft on it.
one more thing about the budget. Chief, on December 21st, can the budget committee meet at the PD for their tour and budget? And you'll host that night? So starting at 7?
Lots of good refreshments, expensive, not come out of the budget.
So we're gonna leave warrant articles off the cover too, correct?
Yeah, until we fashion them.
So, what were you gonna do about, were you gonna change any sanitation line items?
I have a quick FYI.
One more thing under Selectmen's report.
Already, from today?
Saturday.
May we, one more thing? Board. I don't think at least in the history of me being a selectman, and I'm sure Catherine can chime in, I've never had a senator so involved in our community as we had with Senator Forrester.
That's
I
true.
would really love to instruct Joyce to send a very nice letter to her and thanking her for her involvement, her help, her interest. She's been an invaluable asset to our community, and she truly will be sorely missed. I
hope she...
She
know
helped
what you're
us
gonna say,
a
me
couple weeks
too.
ago on that sidewalk.
I hope she plays
I mean, I
well.
get choked up thinking that I can't pick up that phone now and say, "Hey, Jeannie, help me." So would you mind doing that? Is that okay?
Oh, most certainly.
Get it
All
done.
right.
Yeah. If we have a smart governor-elect, he'll appoint her to something.
Are you kidding?
No, if we do, he will.
All right, you had something. Go ahead.
Just a quick FYI, we've had a lot of wetland issues come up between myself as health officer and Darien Land Use. we've collaborated and handled them, in the manners that we thought we should, depending on what they involve. And I had a conversation with him, and within the planning, the zoning ordinances, it allows the planning board to require applicants to pay for consultants such as wetland scientists. So what we would like to do is to send out an RFP and kind of get a wetland scientist that we could call on and hire to, when we have these areas. In fact, we just had one. I don't have the knowledge to say, yes, that's a wetland, and neither did he. We both guessed it was,
More than one, we've had
but
many.
we were fortunate to have a representative from Department of Environmental Services up there who absolutely unequivocally said, that's a wetland. So what he'd like to do is, as I said, get a wetland scientist on board that we could use to delineate a wetland and unequivocally say, yes, this is a wetland. And in that way, when we fine these offenders, we have that to back us up. Because that's the problem. I mean, unless you absolutely know, the shores of Lake Winnisquam or the Winnipesaukee River, you can't really find somebody unless you absolutely know. So we just wanted to make sure the Board of Selectmen knew that was taking place.
I agree.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and I brought it up earlier, is the 12-hour, 4-hour shifts we have with the PD. And I know the chief expressed he didn't think it was really a problem, but watching the schedule, what they're proposed to be scheduled and what actually happens, I'm wondering if it is. I'm wondering if that we should have Luke come in and if we should look at it again, because they're taking, those 4-hour shifts are not being used as patrol hours. There are many of them that are using it for paid time off, and then they go on details. So we're not getting that coverage on the 4-hour day. There's holes there, and I think we should take a look at it. I don't know how anybody else feels, but
So do you want them to take the PTO on 12-hour shifts instead, or where are you?
Maybe that go to the 10-hour, or...
I don't know. But
They're
when
actually taking the 12, there's a couple of scenarios. They're taking pay time off on the 12-hour shift and working details, or just taking the 12 pay time off on that shift and leaving it empty, calling last minute, so you have to scurry around and get that covered. Or they're taking that 12-hour shift and piggybacking it onto a 12-hour shift and calling it training, that's been done. And there's a couple of other scenarios that have been done. Also, they've shifted them around from what their scheduled hours. So some people have been scheduled a 12-hour shift on a Friday, and if you look at the schedule, now they have a 12-hour shift on top of a 12-hour shift, and even though it's not overtime, it was training, but they switched it from here to there, and it doesn't make sense, and they're utilizing that 4-hour shift for something else, and it's...
they're also using it to get 4 days off in a row.
Yep.
So I'm just saying that it may be something we want to look at with Luke, let him know our concerns. Perhaps he's got suggestions. Just saying, so I don't know.
And another part of the issue is that if somebody's involved in some type of an issue with police, or police report, or accident, or something, and they need to talk to the officer involved, well, it could be Friday night, they took their 4-hour pay time off, now they're off for 3 days, and they don't get to talk to that officer for 4 days until that officer comes back, and that really becomes an issue.
Is that any different than if I took a week off for vacation and they're trying to get a hold of me?
That's gonna happen less
Well, you gotta get that as well.
times. Right, you're gonna happen, but it's gonna happen less times than it is now on a weekly basis.
you could get that vacation time on top of these 4-hour times.
Right,
So it's could be more frequent.
yeah.
Isn't the 4-hour sort of a filler shift in the middle of the day, putting a third on or something to that effect?
Bona fide working hours.
Well, I understand, but it's,
It's shift coverage that's disappearing.
It's at night, it's in the afternoon, and it's a morning. It depends on when the shift, the person that usually works the shift. If the shift is a day shift, then that 4 hours is a day. If the shift is usually a night, then that 4 hours is a night. So it becomes both,
okay.
yeah. Right? Yeah.
All of you come in.
Okay.
I think it's worthwhile talking with them, and the captain and Nate, because they, it's been a year. I think it's worthwhile looking to see, yeah, I think it's worthwhile talking about it. I mean, it works, for the most part, it works, and it's worked well with keeping, overtime down. But in other areas, if you talk with the captain and the sergeant, it doesn't work. And then when you look at the 4 hours or changing the schedule to meet this need or that need, it really doesn't give you a true working, right. Really doesn't give you a true sense of what your needs are at the PD, if you're always changing it day to day. So, I agree with Catherine. We should get him in.
Look at it.
I don't know when, but we should get him in. There was an issue that came up with the land use, well, I guess it wasn't an issue. A while back, about 6 months or so, there was a complaint about a logger up off of Route 3. Now, they have for all intents and purposes, a logging operation. They're cutting wood in back of Dunkin' Donuts.
Yep.
Is it Mr. Mike's? Is that-
Mike's Automotive.
Mike's Automotive.
Isn't he gonna be into site plan because he wants to do a cordwood operation?
Well, I asked Dory, well, I talked to Dory sometimes. As a matter of fact, Dory and Al didn't even know anything was going on till I said something. They went up there and saw it. And now they're saying, well, there's nothing we can do about them, so they're just selling. I said, you got logs in there. I said, you've got telephone pole-sized logs in there. Don't tell me that. So they're either going to sell them at that length or they're going to cut them. It's going to be a problem with transportation. So they went up there. And I guess they've even cut all the way to a brook.
Yes, they have in the back.
So,
Back.
my issue in bringing that
They're
up,
going to come in for a site plan, though, so that's-
my issue for bringing that up is that the neighbors up off of Route 3 have complained on Dublin Drive with the noise. In our noise ordinance, it says 6 a.m. in the morning, including on Sunday. I think that
Sunday's at 10.
Saturday, I'm sorry. And Sundays, it's at 10. I think that we need to take a look at that, relook at that and see.
The disorderly conduct, it's the disorderly ordinance that has the noise in it.
Yeah.
Right, so can we all take a look in the next couple of weeks and, what do you call it? Relook at it, review it, and then we can address it, because now we've got both ends of town with these kinds of operations, with residential, and there's chainsaws all day long, and on a Saturday morning, is it really fair for the neighbors at 6 a.m. in the morning to hear chainsaws all day long?
Was the intent to cut ever filed for West Main?
Dory is checking on that. I talked with him about that today.
She's processing firewood,
And
basically.
apparently.
That's my tenant.
There's huge,
There
huge
wasn't enough
piles.
cut?
Huge
Dory
piles.
checking in.
Seeing it out there.
Catherine, how much do you need to cut to have to file an intent to cut?
You're exempt from, if you're just doing lumber, trees around your house, I think it's 10,000 square feet.
But
You
if it's
still have
already
to
cut
file-
and brought in.
So if I'm gonna cut cordwood for my own use,
Yep.
I still have to file an intent to cut.
You should, because
Yeah, but I'm required to. I'm required to, because I asked him.
But what happens if they bring in
I don't pay
logs?
anything, but they want to know.
What happens if they bring in logs to cut? Because this
That's
isn't-
not a logging operation.
It's manufacturing of firewood.
That's manufacturing firewood, yeah.
So,
It's not a timber cut, in other words.
They should
So
be
there's no
zoned for
intent to
it.
cut. The intent to cut was filed wherever those logs came from.
all these logs were not cut from that property. There was a truck that came in and unloaded these logs. I
Up
saw
here,
that.
yeah.
Up at Mike's.
And that's what,
Some was cut.
Some
Yeah.
were, but these
but
not
he had a
all of them.
cordwood cutting operation going on where he was buying logs off-site, and he thought he was going to cut cordwood there, and he's been told he's got to come in and site plan that he has to cease and desist that.
All right, but we need to relook at that
He
ordinance.
can harvest the lumber that he's cut on his property, but that's it.
Yes, set up a business as a manufacturing of
Right.
firewood, basically, yeah.
All right.
My turn? Okay. The underground storage tank has been removed from the ground. There are no discernible issues with the site. It is complete.
That's amazing.
I have received a accounting from Cheryl Soma,
Yeah.
who does the accounting work. And after we paid all the expenses, we have a total of $5,666.53 left in the account.
How much again?
$5,666.53. Now, at this point, because the school district had a warrant article to enter into this, they need a warrant article to
Get out of it.
I have not, I'm the chairman of the Underground Storage Tank Committee, and I have not called a meeting because I haven't been here for a couple of times now, or it's been several weeks since I found this out. We didn't have a warrant article to enter into this.
Underground?
Yes, we did.
Tilton, the town of Tilton.
Yes,
That we'll need a warrant article to get out of it.
yep.
All right, so we can't disband the committee until after
Right.
town meeting. All right,
District meeting, but yeah.
yeah. Well, district meeting and town meeting both.
Right, right.
And there's a water commission meeting, and a fire commission meeting, and all the different entities
to
that
agree,
took part,
right.
and then the committee would be disbanded. But after the school district, we will receive our share of the $5,600, $5,700. Exactly how that breaks down right this second in percentages, I don't know. But we do have money coming back.
Yeah.
And I just wanted you to know that. And I will keep you apprised as we go forward.
You'll have to do the warrant article.
So,
You'll have to do the warrant
Very
article.
good job,
No,
Joe. Thanks
school
for
now,
You'll
monitoring that
just have
whole
to
thing.
copy the
Get it-
warrant
get it
articles. We have to
done
do
and-
in our
No,
warrant.
because we just have a RSA 53A.
yep. So we didn't do it at our town
Our
meeting.
town meeting did not do that. It
Okay.
was done
then-
through the
then
district.
At the school district meeting.
Oh, okay.
They agreed
That
to
was
be
my
the,
question.
I know, but she said yes.
they agreed to be the entity.
No, the school district is doing the warrant.
Okay, it's opposite
Yes.
of what you said before. Okay.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, however it has to be, I know that we can't do anything without the school district. We don't need
At our town meeting, no.
okay, good enough.
The selectmen have a
Keep my
53A.
eyes open.
Okay.
You were really sick,
Terrific.
weren't you, for a while?
Your
Got
turn.
something,
Weren't you
Peter?
sick a while ago?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Yes. Favor?
I'll reread that.
30 to 10, folks.
Yes.
Is that a new record?
No.
Now,
Feels like it.
Oh, I can remember it. 2 years ago, we were here.